And we are live, in theory, one would think. Hi, everybody. Let me know, as per usual, if my audio is good. In the meantime, hey, Jellybean, glad to have you. Suzanne, glad to have you. Good to see you. Ray, always good to see you. Power, good to have you. Good to see you. DD, good afternoon to you as well. Kosuke. Kosuke? I hope I'm saying that right. Regardless, hi, good to see you, glad to have you. And Genesis, good to see you. Glad to have you. So, we are now beginning our descent towards the end of 2.0. Well, we've got Garuda next, but then it's really only Operation Archon from there. So, that's gonna be exciting. We're gonna give it a couple minutes for people to come in, but as we do that, we're gonna do our usual warrior quest, and this may be the final day that you see this ensemble, as we shall soon have the warrior garb in its totality. So, Koshek? Is that right? But close enough? Yep. Maybe I should have just gone with Garl. Hey, Croterize! Hey, Mr. Archives, only made it to another stream. Well, glad to have you. Glad every time any of you can make it. It's always a lot more fun to be able to discuss and share with y'all. Yes, that's near perfect. Koshek? Okay. Yay! Yay indeed, Power. Yay indeed. Okay, let's get to it. I also may need to pause. I forgot to grab water. Although, ooh, I have iced tea, so that works too. You would truly seek the ultimate relic of my people? The armor that could consume the very soul of the most Okay, no. Prescient warrior? Very well. If you are truly convinced of your readiness, I will not be the one to stand in your way. But I beg of you, Elio, the moment you feel yourself losing control and your inner beast overcoming you, cast the armor aside. Cast it from the highest mountain or into the depths of the ocean. I care not. For once the beast consumes your soul, there is no going back. You will rage on, a monster, leaving naught but carnage in your wake. The realm will bleed, and history will repeat itself. I cannot allow this to happen. No, my people have been shunned long enough. I would see the coming of a new age, in which warriors protect the weak, and are loved and admired by the people of the realm. My years of battle and sleepless nights spent poring over the ancient text all have been for this day. Brother, I know not where fate has led you, and yet I feel certain that in spirit you stand with me today. Together, we will restore the honor of our people. You must forgive my sentiment, Elio. As I said, this has been a long time coming. The breastplate you seek in the highlands of Kurthus, at the spring they call the Weeping Saint. I will stay behind. The events at Wineport still weigh heavy on my heart. Makes sense that I guess it would be in Kurthus, seeing as it's the closest region to the Far Reach that you can access in A Realm Reborn. But I guess no, it's supposed to be one of the places that someone had to try. One of the warriors had a triumphant victory. So, hey, Tethys, good to see you. Glad to have you. DD, did you notice our FC is rank 15? I did not. Holy crap. We're making good time. Speaking of, if you are on Crystal Curl, come join our FC, the Eorzean Archives. It's a good old time, and we have a fun time socializing, hanging out, and helping each other as needed. And if you are not on Crystal Curl, feel free to let me or Ray know, and we can invite you to our Crossworld Link Shell instead, which will allow you to still communicate with everybody else. Some of my stuff under-leveled. Well, I guess not for the MSQ. No, all my stuff is... Well, I guess, okay, no, I could use... Some rings and stuff would be nice. Cries in light. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we have quite a few problems of people being cross-data centered. Luckily, though, with 6.8, that will help somewhat. And then by 7.0, the vast majority of us will be able to interplay with ease, which is going to be very exciting. But yeah, you're definitely not alone. Koshek. Curious Gorge at the start of his development. He's so cute. I mean, but like, how much is his development beyond becoming a somewhat more confident warrior and then falling in love? Hey, Brotherhood, glad you could join us. I should probably summon Milkshake. I wonder if every time I summon Milkshake, it summons Serene. Hey, Issa, made it, and my UEFI seems okay after a reflash. Good. I know you were having some of those computer troubles, trademark. I mean, for an oaf like him, that's a lot. Fair? No, fair enough. Fair enough. And not to belittle the change or the growth or his arc either. It's just maybe not one of the more deep ones. But that does not make it not valuable. Hand over the breastplate, Elio. After much wrestling with the thought, I simply cannot entrust a relic to an outsider who may be overwhelmed by its power. I return now into Hidden Falls. If you would have words with me, then come. I will not run away. That's all the development he needs. He'd be too powerful otherwise. Yeah, exactly. I love Elio's just like, what the fuck? Why didn't you just come grab it then? Making me do all the work. Oh, I should just clip the pudding. There's a reason why no one reads the original Curious George books anymore. Poor chimp got abducted from the jungle by a man in the yellow hats. Oh, how time doth make everything far more either cringy or problematic. How's everyone's Monday going? Mine has been a little rough, to say the least. But I hope all of your guys' has been going well. Elio, I'm sorry I did not mean for things to happen like this, but I had no choice. I've wrestled long and hard with the matter, but this is my decision. I cannot trust you with this power, when I do not even trust myself. That's right. I won't attempt to don the plate again, either. Nor will anyone. Not until I've proof that there is one with a will strong enough to withstand the beast's siren call. Peer deep within your soul, Elio. Peer into the eyes of the beast that stares back at you. Can you truly say that you can engage the monster in battle and emerge victorious? I shall return to the tome. I shall return to the tome. If there are any answers to be found, they lie within those pages. In the meantime, continue your training that you might find an answer of your own. That was a brief quest. Well, it looks like the fancy Eorzean look lingers on yet one more episode. I'm a bit short on sleep, so don't be surprised if I slow down a bit later. Oh, Ray, thanks for covering regardless. And yeah, I actually had a very similar problem. I slept very poorly last night, and just a bunch of stressors from a bunch of different life stuff. Ariel, hey Ariel, good to have you, glad to have you. Could be much better without the headache induced by work. Oh, yeah, I feel ya, I really do. You have my empathy and sympathy. I've been doing the new tribal quests, they're pretty fun. Yeah, I really love the Archosodra tribal quests. They're both fun in terms of like the Thavnarian lore, but also just like, they're just like a silly, fun, good time. The hippos are so cute. Yeah. Hey, Professor! Glad you can make it. Good to have you. Oh, why did I go this way? Oh, no. Is it Mione? No. Oh, right. We have to go to the airship landing with Sid. That's what's going on. Ooh, we're going to get one of my favorite songs in A Realm Reborn coming up. Nope, that's front lines. Let me on to into the Eye of the Storm. Interesting. On the plus side, I got a new alt to 50 in a day. Preferred server for the win. Jesus, Ray. You absolute mad lad. Wait, hey! I don't know. I think it's her, but it's a slightly different model. But it looks just like the Archer girl from the Archer quests. Probably just copy-pasting. Why do you tarry, Elio? Our work is not yet finished here. We must press onward, until the Harpy Queen lies broken at our feet. It calms me to look at her. It's as though I've been reunited with a partner of mine I've never knew was missing. Hardly surprising, you did design and build her. I bear good news. The Seedseers have granted our request to house the Enterprise. We may take as long as we require to repair her. Of course, it would be rank folly to take one moment more than we require. Garuda, lest we forget, grows stronger by the hour. If we are to have any hope of wresting the benighted realm from her talons, it must needs be soon. Though I am no expert on the workings of airships, it seems plain to me that the Enterprise suffered much from her time in the wilderness. Am I not correct, Sid? You are. Frankly, it's a miracle that she carried us this far. As you know, the Howling Eye is encircled by a raging tempest, apt to turn proud trees to matchwood. Our battle will end before it begins if the Enterprise cannot weather the storm. Given time, I believe I can fully repair her. But if this tempest is as fearsome as you say, even that may not be enough. Confound it, there must be a way to brave the fury of the elements. The elements? But of course, that's it. We work upon the elements itself. Using the power of a corrupted crystal, we could clear a path through the storm and spare the Enterprise a battering. I see. You propose to utilize the properties of a crystal to alter the elemental aspects of the barrier. It seems so childishly simple in retrospect. Though, mayhap not you, Elio. We speak of the manifestation of over-aspected aether that can be found throughout Eorzea. Since the calamity disrupted the land's etheric currents, such crystals have become comparatively commonplace, which has been a cause of great woe, as they are known to warp etheric energies, including those of living organisms. Worth noting that corrupted crystals are deeply astrally aligned, and that's why they corrupt things. The point is, we could theoretically use a corrupted crystal to convert the wind aspected aether, comprising Garuda's barrier, into aether of another aspect, one she cannot control. With certain modifications, the Enterprise should be able to deliver us to the Howling Eye in comfort, however hard Garuda blows. But we are getting ahead of ourselves. All of this rests upon our ability to procure a crystal with the necessary properties. Have you any idea where we might acquire one? No, but I know a man who might. A scholar by the name of Lambertian. Depends if he's Elysian or not. Lambertian, who resides in Camp Drybone. Strange as it may sound, I met him during my time at the church. Well, Marcus met him, I suppose. Whether out of pity or for want of a more willing listener, he would talk to me for hours at a time about his etheric studies, corrupted crystals being his pet subject. It was as a result of these conversations that poor Marcus was observed to possess an uncommon knack for theoretical science. Elio, I need you to return to Hydaelyn and seek out this scholar. Sid and I will set to repairing the Enterprise in your absence. That shiny moment, that was awesome. Yeah, D, I will say that I will tend to be distracted by more than a few things. Anything that's lore interest. Check out Will's ideas for 7.0 mechanics on the Discord. Yeah, will do. At some point. I haven't... ARR Alfie is the pint-sized kid that provokes the bigger but not as smart kid. Then when the bigger kid punches him, when it is what the smaller but smarter kid was looking for, cries out bully. Yeah, you know, the thing is that there's a certain amount of that that's also more trolly than... Like, Alfie's more like the kid who just doesn't get that he's provoking the bully until he gets punched in the face and then realizes, oh, I shouldn't have been doing that. But thinks he's smart enough to know better, but isn't. Hey, Eden, glad you could join us. Damn it, man, I'm a warrior, not a scientist. By the way, I really enjoyed the recent End Talkers. It was great. Awesome, Croter Eyes, I'm glad. Yeah, we have 2 more coming out, and then we recorded the last episode for Mario Lamentorum, but it got corrupted, so we're gonna have to re-record that, sadly. Oh, okay, he is an Elson. Why, yes, I am Professor Lambertian. Lambertian? The T's should be silent, right? Beg pardon? You wish to hear about my research on corrupted crystals? Truly? Well, nothing would give me greater pleasure than to discuss my work with a fellow man of science. So rare it is to find fellow intellectuals in this region. 'Tis even rarer to find one capable of comprehending the nature of corrupted crystals. Come to think of it, there was another, a hermit to whom the church had given sanctuary. Curious fellow, unsociable, rather daft at first impression, yet possessed of an amazing affinity towards the scientific pursuits. But to the matter at hand, did you say you wish not to conduct a field observation, but to harvest a corrupted crystal? Egads, man! At least take the necessary precautions so that you do not suffer from exposure to its harmful energies. I'm beginning to wonder if you have sufficient qualifications to handle such hazardous materials. Still, your ignorance is somewhat endearing. Luckily for you, I've precisely the means by which these inherent dangers may be averted. Simply store the crystals you seek within this warded pot to protect yourselves from its deleterious effects, though I suppose you will be bombarded with its energies until you place it within the vessel. Well, perhaps it shall motivate you to work quickly. In any case, take the pot to Hahasako, a student of mine monitoring the flow of aether at Highbridge. Explain to him your quest, and he shall instruct you in the finer points of crystal harvesting. Important to know those are lull changes. Important to know those are lull. I'm not sure I follow you. Pump it up. Pump it up indeed, pump a nickel. Damn Asian's manipulating your recordings. Yeah, exactly, Crotorized. I should have known better. That damn Asian Craig. How dare he cancel his recording mid-stream. Oh crap, it's these quests. I put it just to stretch out the MSQ at this point. You know, maybe that's more or less fair. I would point that the importance of corrupted crystals is such, both to the narrative in Binding Coil and Heaven's Word, that I don't know that it's exactly wasted time. But as per always, I think it is that issue of a Reborn using 3 quests when it could do 1. But yeah, watching a great stream while cooking curry today is a good day. Aw, Eden, I hope you enjoy. And what kind of curry? I'll be honest, I really, really love golden Japanese curry, but I'm not a big fan of like red curries or like other spicy curries. The changes, they aren't serious changes, they're changes for lulls. They are great though. I literally, it's been so long, I won't even be able to tell what the changes are. Wait, what did the assay named Craig corrupt? He corrupted our most recent End Talker recording. So, I curse him to the bottom pits of the 7th hell. Hahasako. How many times must I be made to explain myself? I'm not contemplating suicide, you imbecile. I've chosen this precise position to perform scientific measurements. What have we here? A containment vessel? Why, this is the handiwork of Professor Lambiert. The thieving knave. I shall call for the... Oh, you say the man himself lent it to you. Then you must have sought me out to put per his instruction. Which means he believes me experienced enough to expound upon his explanations. At last, the recognition I so rightly deserve. Ooh, new armor. Wow, take it. Oh, fabulous day! Kalu Kale, that I should be chosen to guide this man. Yes, I, Hahasako, greatest of Professor Lambert's pupils, shall see that you successfully quarry your quarry. Your timing is impeccable. In fact, your timing is impeccable, in fact, for I was just preparing to procure corrupted crystals from the burning wall for my personal research. There, the devastating destruction caused by the calamity has blessed us with the bounty of sublime specimens. Burning wall's over here. But something tells me that not but a perfect peace will satisfy your high standards, in which case, you must needs descend to the deepest depths amidst the flowing waters and the murderous mirror nights that lie the most fantastic formation. And the murderous mirror nights... Amidst the flowing waters and murderous mirror nights lies the most fantastic formations I have found thus far. Take this highly advanced research tool and use it to separate a small fragment from the larger cluster. Place it within the warded pot and bear it back to me for inspection.
The path which leads from Burgundy Falls to the base of the Burning Wall is treacherous and terrifying, but advance with appropriate caution and you shall surely survive. I hope. It's medium spicy Indian style curry. Nice. Yeah, not my personal favorite, but I assume it is one that is much enjoyed by you, so I am excited for you, if nothing else. Yeah, okay, through the Burgundy Falls. I was gonna think about going through the Azima's precipice area, but we'll go back through that so I can show you guys that thing later. Oh, that sucks. I was worried that he had corrupted book club. No, episode 7 of the book club will be up. We're just getting we are currently setting up a web service basically to be able to put podcasts up, and we have to wait until Wednesday to be able to afford the yearly payment for it. And then we're gonna put up End Talkers Book Club and Lore Talks on that's to like be able to listen to all a podcast style, because I can't put the Lore Book Club up on Discord because it's too big, and I don't really want to put it up on YouTube, partially also because I don't want people to feel like they shouldn't talk during book club if they don't want to be on, you know, something that's highly public in that way. But yeah, no, book club will be up probably. I believe Issa said we'd be able to get that taken care of on Wednesday, so that Wednesday would be the earliest. Used to make it extra spicy, but those nights never end well. Fair enough. Garuda got booty. Hey, Remziel, glad to have you. Glad you could be here. Remziel got booty that blows me away. Also, hi. Indeed do. Look, not to be a heathen and a degenerate, but everyone's opinion on hottest primal, go. Oh, I see. I have to go down here, right? My God, it's been so long since I've actually traveled through the Burning Wall. Oh, I can't jump down. Good afternoon. Hey, Dragonstar. Glad to have you. Good you could be here. Good afternoon from Booba to Booty with what an MSQ this is. Yes, and just wait till we get to Lakshmi. Yeah, down here. Lol, the thought of 10 people per day walking up to this Lala and telling him not to jump. Yeah, Corona Rise. Is a personal favorite of mine. Good, Eden. I'm glad you did good. That's good that you're getting the thing you like. Thank you, Ray Ray. Yep, Wednesday. Titan. See, but I can't tell if you're trolling, so, like, if you say that, I'm just gonna take you at face value. I mean, maybe you like those big boys. I don't know. Nice try, FBI. Titan numero uno. Shiva's hottest despite the ice. I feel like her headdress gets in the way. I love that he's like this delicate, specialized scientific equipment. It would not be a lie to say that the sledgehammer was made for harvesting corrupted crystals. Although Ramu is fire, yeah. Now I want to think about it. I mean, most of the ones, there's not a lot you can say about the Heavensward ones, really. Well, I guess you could say, Sophia, and I mean, maybe if you have something for Sephiroth. So I guess for the female ones, it's like, you got Shiva, Lakshmi, Tsukuyomi, Garuda. I mean, I feel like Lakshmi's the easy answer, in some ways. Titan's got strong arms to cuddle me, though. Beautiful. Oh, actually, well, I'll just teleport over there later and we'll show you. And what about straight women? Yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing, is that there's a lot of options depending on whatever you have your preference and druthers for, I'll say that. Tsukuyomi, no contest. Yeah, it's difficult. I wouldn't actually rank Tsukuyomi high for me personally for a couple of reasons, but, like, I totally understand why that would be someone's. Ravana. Was waiting for someone to say Ravana. Supreme step on me energy greater than even the ice-clad Shiva. Lakshmi seems to work on everyone. Yeah, I mean, that's also because Lakshmi's so conventional, you know, that there's nothing to throw you off, a la some people. Susanna would kill you with the hug. Yeah, just straight impale you. I mean, non-primal, you have Siren. That's true. I mean, if we're talking dungeon bosses, that becomes a whole different case. OG Titans does have those cheeks. Not gay dudes calling me for final form VAW3. Ramsey, I literally, one of my partners just mentioned that same thing last night. They did Innocence for the first time, and they said almost the same thing. Because goddamn, that boy is pretty. Imagine summoning a primal out of lust. Low-key would be surprised if it happened a couple of times in lore. Yeah, you know, possible. Once we get to Lakshmi, it's right back to the bosom. Don't know if it's a primal, but Elidibus is as Warrior of Light. Technically, it is a primal incarnation form. You could argue easily. And I guess there's also a lot of ways you could point out that Elidibus in Warrior of Light form, you know, looks a lot like Themis too. So VAW3 is too perfect, no flaws. I see, you've come galumphing back here. Have you the crystal then? What? What a prodigiously large and lovely crystal! Professor Lambient will be doubtless chortled with joy when you present it to him in person. Oh, and upon your return, do remember to recount how I helped you with your harvesting. I swear to God, I remember collecting corrupted crystals in Mordona. Was that a side quest, or was that like the old version of this quest or something? Yes, Elidibus. Yeah, I adore Elidibus. I also really love Elidibus's voice actor, too. You mean not all? You mean not at all, you little jerk of a love. I think we can all agree the top non-primal is Hith, the bisexual icon. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie. Graha was the hardcore bisexual icon of the game for me for a long time, and then we got Hythlodaeus, and there's just that boy. I mean, I think we literally have an end talker. No. Yeah, in an end talkers, I talk about, oh no, it's not out yet. I have a little section about me loving purple-haired bi boys. That will be out, I think, in an episode or two. My keen scholar senses tell me that you've obtained a corrupted crystal, am I right? No, I showed up here empty-handed just for the sake of it. If you would grant me a moment to examine the crystal. Ah, it is as you desired, a corrupted crystal overflowing with wind-aspected aether. Why would it be wind-aspected in the region that it's in? Well, I guess you're close enough to the shroud. That kind of makes sense. Okay, that works. Remind me, for what purpose did you intend to use this crystal again? What? To breach a barrier comprised of wind-aspected aether? Oh dear. That may prove problematic, as this crystal would only serve to strengthen the barrier. Yeah, it's astral. You're just gonna quicken the aether around. Yeah, like, I was gonna say something about that. I'm glad that the story did. I suppose I am at fault for not inquiring as to your observations from the start. Had I known your intent, I would have never sent you to Sako. But what is science if not trial and error? And can you truly say that this failure has taught you nothing? Think, man. You now understand the methods necessary to safely collect a corrupted crystal. You will doubtless have no difficulty doing so once more. What's more, the crystal you collected can serve as an invaluable resource for the ethereal studies conducted by the students of Baldesion. You've heard of them? Well, I don't mean to boast, but I have a professional relationship with the organization. Not as equals, of course. I would never be so as bold as to claim that level of expertise. Are you all right? Your eyes seem to have glazed over for a moment. Anyway, I shan't keep you from your task. You've still a corrupted crystal to find. Corrupted crystals of sufficient size and strength are not all that common, I fear. Fortunately, one of my other students, Siana? Is it supposed to be or Kiana? Siana claims to have discovered another promising site in Eastern Lenosia. Wait, that's not correct. Eastern Lenosia was where she was nearly killed when wandering too close to an Imperial castrum. Now that made for an amusing anecdote. It was Western Lenosia, very serious on the Isle of Umbra to be precise. I can't recall her exact reasoning, something to do with one of Dalamud's talons or some such nonsense. What I can say for certain is that she is still in Aleport, attempting to gain access to the Isles. why not travel there and see if Sienna's inquiries bear fruit? If you can look past the crass and violent ways of the local pirates, you might find your time there to be quite pleasurable. Oh, and do not forget to take your makeshift warded pot, lest she think you unprepared for the task. Hith can step on me any day. I'd even accept a grumpy cat as a +1 if I get hit. I love that like everyone loves Hythlodaeus a la 5.0, and then on to getting more time with him. Another man of culture, Graha and Hith, both fine choices. Indeed, Ramziel, indeed. I wish I could claim that I found males attractive, because boy would that make my life easier in a lot of ways. Sadly, I am far too straight. Romantically bi, whatever that means, but I can definitely appreciate the wonderful bi boys and all of their energy, whether or not I can say I'm specifically attracted to them. I fancied Raha from Crystal Tower, but Hith came along and, well, bye Raha. I mean, the beauty of this game is that you don't have to sacrifice any of them. You can love them all, and at the same time. Hell, I mean, look at Aenor Cockburn. She tries to sleep with Okerbold or Horibold or Grahatia, and maybe even the Warrior of Light. So, speaking of, I've got a video coming out on Wednesday that you guys might like. Eh? Corrupted crystals? Sir, I have no interest in being the butt of your jokes, so if you have no other reason for addressing me, kindly leave me be. Well, I'll be damned! Professor Lambien sent you, did he? Beg your pardon, it seems we got off on the wrong foot. I'm Sina, greatest of the professor's pupils, which is doubtless why he bid you seek me out. Indeed, I am an accomplished scholar with an extensive background in... oh gods, just listen to me prattle on and on. I must have given this introduction a dozen times by now. As I told the professor in me many missives, I believe that the area surrounding Pharaoh Sirius is replete with corrupted crystals of exceptional strength. I wonder what gave... oh, I can't pull it up right now, but I'll pull it in a second. Unfortunately, I've yet to test my hypothesis, as all access to the Isles of Umbra is prohibited at present, for reasons unknown to me. You see, my many attempts to acquire this information are oft met with annoyance and disdain. It's rather puzzling, since I've always taken the time to explain my motivation in great detail to the subjects of my questioning. Mood. Mayhap you will have better luck wresting this information from the Yellow Jackets. I've all but given up at this point. I wonder what made you think there'd be corrupted crystals there? I'm gonna throw Urianger as a bio icon. IDK that dork gets me. Look, I will support vehemently to the day I die, hot as fuck, but that man be straight. Like, that man has his eyes and heart for one woman and one woman only. But hot as fuck, no question. Oi, you started me. Did you know better than to sneak up on a person at times like this? What's with all the fatuous gossip of spirits and the specters haunting the Isle of Umbra? Just because I know it's nonsense doesn't make it any less frightening. Now Uri is a trans icon. Interesting. I'm not sure I follow why, but interesting. Warrior of Light is honest at least. Yeah, Xenos is totally worth dumping. Simping over. I mean, look, if you want to be part of that culture, go ahead. I can't, in good conscience, support that, but that's because I can't simp for over anyone with questionable ethics. Like, for instance, I can't really support simping over Yotsuyu, despite understanding. Eyes glaze over. Hey, lovelies. Hey, Nick, glad you could join us. Glad you're here. So I'm a little bit behind on chat. You're keen on traveling to the Isle of Umbra. Bloody hells, lad. Are you drunk on or just crazy? Ain't nothing there but death, death, and more death. I wonder if there's death there. And the next girl needs to lay off ale. This next girl needs to lay off Ailport's ale. That girl is the next level thought, but she's the yeah, talking about Aenor, but she's the Scion's thought, so we got her back. Eden, that's a great way of putting it. Oh no, it's down below. Is it around the side? Yeah, it's around the side. Top 10 hottest Final Fantasy 14 characters. I will always be terrible at bests or top 10s, partly because I'm so focused on context that I tend to laud all the different strengths for different characters and different things. If you ever ask me, what's my number one X, Y, or Z? I will not be able to answer you. As for top 10, that's such a long list that it would be hard to make it in any meaningful way. And also, like, your personal druthers are going to affect that so much. You know, like one person will find Eorzean the epitome of hotness, while other people will be like, ugh, nah.
The Isle of Umbra, what interest have you in that godforsaken place? Ever since we forced to abandon Pharaoh Sirius, the Isles have become not more than a graveyard for ships unable to navigate to the shores, and a purgatory for the souls dragged down to the depths with them.
Or better yet, top 10 FF14 characters that seem to want nothing more than getting into a romantic relationship with the Warrior of Light. Alice, Grahatia, Aenor Cockburn, potentially. Yugiri, depending on your dialogue options. Lys, somewhat implied, depending on your dialogue options. Those are the 5 that I can think of off the top of my head. What about Emmett, though? Yeah, but I don't think, like, Emmett ain't hot for us. Emmett just is very lonely and wants desperately to find someone to connect with and as equal. I don't think he's, like... Here's the thing. Do you want to argue that Emmett's hot for a Zem? I'll listen. I'll listen to that. I still would think that, to my mind, it's not really a romantic thing, but I wouldn't say so much for the Warrior of Light.
Aye, Elio, you've returned. Tell me of your findings. Really? Really? Infested with the undead, you say? That is a very interesting development. Excuse me for a moment while I gather my thoughts. Worry not, my friend. I have given your findings some thought, and I've concluded that this talk of spirits is not more than local folklore. As for why all the travel to the Isle of Umbra is restricted, well, mayhap it's considered too dangerous owing to the abandonment of Pharaoh Sirius. Yes, well, anyway, while you were questioning those yellow jackets, I paid a visit to the local pub, since even an esteemed scholar like myself enjoys dulling her wits on occasion. It was there that I heard tell of a man named Skirfrin, who was recently detained after returning from... wait for it, the Isle of Umbra. This is the first I've heard of someone actually traveling to and from there, so I'm curious as to how he obtained permission. Mind having a chat with him in me said. He was arrested after all, so I'm somewhat reticent to approach him myself. What about Eorzean's trans icon, cause that show off during Shadowbringers with his new outfit and the whole trying to hide his body beforehand. It just kind of gives a lot of trans folk the vibe. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I can definitely see how there can be a kinship there. Totally. Regardless, I'm glad that someone feels that there's an emotional way, that there's some sort of form of connection. I'll say, like, for instance, throughout my life, I've tend to have a large vocabulary and or use overwrought words just like as a normal way of speaking. And I've had not just people make fun of me, but people actively tell me they don't like me and think I'm pretentious because of it. And so I've heard a lot of say the same things about Eorzean, and so completely different aspect, but in that same way can I find many different things I relate to him deeply on.
I have to go back. She calls to me, sings to me. Tell me, Moda. Tell me, Mimidoda. Tell me, Midoa. I'm sorry. Given this, he was right. Or you could release me. Yes. Release me. I will go and tell her. Tell me. Let me go tell her.
No, but I bet there is a da. Would number 1 on that list be Graha or Alice? I say Graha. I think because, like, as much as Alice is pretty apparent in, like, a lot of ways, Graha is, like, damn near explicit on a number of levels throughout multiple expansions. He's technically not evil, just has conflicting views. No. Xenos is tragic. He is evil, though. He murders rampantly. He joyfully delights in the death and maiming and pain of others, and literally wants to end the world for the sake of his own pleasure. He's a tragic character. He is complicated. He did not need to be the way he was. All of those things are true, but he is evil. His actions are evil. Like, there is depth and understanding and complication and meaningful context behind him. But that doesn't change the fact that he is a murdering psychopath. I mean, arguably more of a sociopath, really, in his inability to feel. And again, that is tragic, and you can even pity or potentially even empathize to an extent with that. But that doesn't change that he willfully and rampantly murders people for his own pleasure.
Hey, what did Skirfin have to say? That's not terribly helpful. I couldn't care less how much he misses his favorite bar wench. But what was it that about a man named Mimidoa? Wait, I know that name. That's the bastard who grabbed my arse the other day at the pub. Well, if you want to give him that feather, be my guest. I'm not going anywhere near him in his wandering hands.
Also, we forgot, I mean, just because the view conflict doesn't make his actions not able. Yeah, easy touch on it. Also, we can't forget our buddies, Horsefant and Americ. Yeah, well, Horsefant, yes, Americ kind of depends on your dialogue options, but you can make an argument for it. I see Americ much more as someone else in his life who's co-equal and can understand some of his plights of responsibility, much more than I do anything romantic, because I also think that Lucia is much more,
Another night, are ya? No, then what are ya? Speak up, son, I can't hear you.
Bugger me, if that wasn't what I think it is. Nah, couldn't be. You found this, you say. Where'd you say you found it?
Skifrin, you say? Would hope to have a word with that lad, but it sounds like there's naught left twixt his ears. He was supposed to help patch up Theros Sirius, he was. Company sent me to supervise a lot of them. Weren't getting work done on their own, see? Half of them walked off, half of them ran off, and half of them up and vanished. What's that? You be looking for passage to the Isle of Umbra? Why didn't you say so? I've been thinking of dispatching someone to take a look on behalf of old Mimidoa. Tell him how the land lies. Ain't nobody been interested till you came a callin'. Whole port's up in arms about spirits and so forth. If I had the gill, I'd hire some cell swords and let 'em sort it out. But you'll do in a pinch. You will show this parchment to the skippers, and I'll see you there and back.
Oh, let's catch up. The infamous Isle of Umbra. I always think of the skeletons when I think of that area. Americ, the lover of Warrior of Light, regardless. And very serious, of course, yeah. Hey, Aubrey, glad you could join us. Oh my god, same thing about Eorzean Jason, weird. I love the way he talks and do similar things. As for gender feels, Hythlodaeus is peak gender to me, and I adore him. Yeah, I adore Hythlodaeus too. And yeah, there's a lot of aspects about Eorzean's choices, Eorzean's experience in the game, and like just a lot of his disposition that I really relate to, and a lot of those same things are a lot of the reasons I actively hear many people dislike him. So, you know, it's a complicated thing. It's funny that you mentioned using big words in your vocabulary when I can use fuck so many ways to get across my, you know, but the thing is, you can have a large vocabulary or lexicon and still meaningfully use expletives as a form of emphasis. They're, you know, verbal exclamation points. I wholly disagree with anyone who gets at the idea that swear words are, you know, the sign of someone with a poor vocabulary. I very much think that, one, the amount of creativity. Issa, are you just like sitting there watching me? Just like staring at me from on high? I open up chat. I'm watching you. But yeah, Fairy is such a cool dungeon. I like it. When I was saying not evil, I was talking about Emmett. Okay, Ramsdale, cool. Well, I made my point about, and I would still say that, again, Emmett is more tragic, and Emmett as himself may not be evil, but Emmett Selk the Asian is. You know, I mean, he's willing to beget genocide. But you may agree with that point as well. You may be more talking about the nuance of the actual character. Most murdering psychopaths consider themselves justified. Yeah, and that's the other thing is, no one thinks they're the villain, right? And those people who think they are the villain still think the act of being the villain is the correct choice, or the effectively the villain as the good guy.
So you went ahead and had a word with Mimidoa. I hope the valuable time you saw fit to waste amounted to something. Eh? You mean the disgusting creature was Skirfin's superior? I find that hard to believe, but this writ message does apply to be genuine, so it must be true. I must say, it is a relief to work with such an industrious man as you. I look forward to hearing of the discoveries you will make on the Isle of Umbra without me. Isle of Umbra. Without me.
Sienna.
Fine. I failed to see the justification for dragging me along on your journey, but if you insist, I will go as well. But 12 as my witness. If you leave me behind to be devoured by some horrid abomination, I shall come back to haunt you.
Is Mimidoa the one who shows up in the Endwalker? No, that's a Charlian, I believe. I'm pretty sure. But he does look like him. I was noticing he does look a lot like him, doesn't he? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that is him, but the outfit is different. So we'll go check that afterwards, Eden, or someone else might check it before we get to it. Oh, it is. Yeah, yep. Greek philosophy has a lot to say on all this. Yeah, definitely. Eden, at least your FFXIV must be amazing. Wait, you didn't say? Oh, bloody hells, my internet keeps lagging. The Sacramento internet is Garbo. Yeah, well, could be, wow, I would say could be worse. You have my empathy that it's sucking. Nick, has someone got an explanation between why Emet Selk is also called Hades? Like, so remember, so I'll explain this real quick. The people of the Unsundered World had what was called the Convocation, who were their leaders. There were 14 members of the Convocation. Each role on the Convocation had a title. The title of Emet Selk was one of the titles. The person who held the role of Emet Selk was Hades. The title was Fandaniel. The person who held the role of the title was Hermes. On and on and on. The title was Elidibus. The character who held it is almost certainly Themis. You get the point. Same with, you can look at Metron and Artemis and Gaia, and Lawgriff. I hope that explains, Nick. Yeah, I like the point about Xenos, and yeah, I agree that Emmett certainly isn't good, but he does get some redemption adding you. Let's be careful about hyper-specific 6.0 stuff towards the end of it, but Ramsey, yes, you're good. Don't worry about it. Even if it was for more personal reasons. Yeah, but there's an important thing here, is that's not just a redemption. Remember, if your soul is corrupted and tempered by Primal, which the Asians were, they're all tempered by Zodiarch. When you return to the Ethereal Sea, your soul is cleansed of that tempering. So that's important to note, that it's not just a redemption thing of someone changing their mind. It was also actively a restoration of the person they once were. Take me to the Isle of Umbra, he bids, as if it's as simple. Oh, I see you've got a writ of passage. Well, all right then, climb aboard. I feel like Emet Selk is tragic on both sides of the fence. Yeah, that is Endwalker any more tragic after the events of Endwalker. Yeah, I totally agree, Dragonstar. I've seen some people feel like Endwalker undercuts it. I deeply disagree. I think the tragedy of him holds true in both cases, of both Shadowbringers and Endwalker, and is just a phenomenal. This doesn't seem all that bad. I'm not saying I like to build a summer home here, but the hells with this. Here, take your pot and go on without me. You've harvested corrupted crystals before, right? So it isn't as though you've required my assistance. Speak to the man guarding the gate. I'm sure he'll let you in. Now, if you would please excuse me. Yeah, it feels like the internet is wonky, yes, absolutely. Hades is his name, yeah, power, exactly. Okay, perfect. Sorry, my bad. No, you're good, Ramsey. I haven't made that hyper explicit. Don't feel bad about it at all. I only mean to tell you so you're aware of it now. And like, it's a soft thing. As we're getting into 6.1, 6.2, it's a little bit more okay. But I want people who haven't maybe finished Endwalker to not be too spoiled on anything, and just use your best judgment. I'm not like gonna draw super hard lines. Beg your pardon, sir, but how did you come here? Access to the isle is currently restricted. I've got a pot. An old pot? I'm not sure I follow. Oh, I see. You wish to harvest a corrupted crystal. Sorry, friend, but you may have to return empty-handed. The writ Master Mimi Doa gave you may grant access to the isle, but only authorized personnel may proceed past this point. Why, you ask? Look up and see for yourself. With that giant mass of crystals stuck in the lighthouse, it caused severe damage to both the structure and the machinery within that once powered the beacon. Nay, contrary to what the small folk would have you believe, the fires of Pharaoh Sirius was not the product of a mage's thaumaturgy or colossal arcane bomb, but an elaborate contraption fueled by ethereal energy. Repairs are still ongoing, but it's anyone's guess when they'll be complete. What's worse, all work has ceased since rumors of the Walking Dead drove off our entire crew. Rumors? Not that there are rumors are incorrect. I've observed the fiends from a distance at the ship's graveyard to the south. What's drawn them to our shores is still a mystery, though. I'll make you a deal, Elio. Help me unravel the mystery, and I'll bring you your corrupted crystals. In fact, I shall begin searching for one that satisfies your requirement. As for where to begin, your inquiries to the situation, it so happens that a party of 3 adventurers came ashore not long ago, seeking to scavenge valuable trinkets at the ship's graveyard. I'd be surprised if they knew nothing of the undead infestation, so it might behoove you to question them. Let's catch up on chat quick. Okay, perfect. Cool, Nick. I'm glad that explanation worked for you. Grinding for TT cards is equal to self-loathing. Also, hello. Hey, Brian. Glad you could join us. I grew to love it, but I also, I'm only like one TT card away from getting the mount. And one of the first things I did when I first got into A Realm Reborn was played a bunch of triple triad back when the drop rates were, I think, 1/5 of what they are now. So I've honestly come to love that, but I hear you. It is a grind. I love when you explain, oh, Crotorize, thank you. Thank you. That's really kind to hear, and especially if I'm having a rough day, it's nice to have those kind words. Yes, that's a good point. I haven't even considered the Ascian's temper, but you're 100% correct. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's just an important point. It's one of those things that's super easy to miss, that you really, in a functional way, should not consider Emmett Selkov 5.0 and Emmett Selkov 6.0 the same character. In certain terms, but yeah, I'm glad that was helpful. Do we have an in-game lore for Crystalline Conflict? Yes, and I can explain that in a second. In the last few quests of Endwalker main story, nice, Dez. All I'm gonna say is, why does Emmett look like a certain character from? Yes, look, Dez, you and me and everyone else laugh hysterically if you. Okay, if you haven't played Endwalker, close your ears for 60 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, look. I'm not saying that when I first got to Elpis and played that, I didn't look at Emmett Selk and go, Emmett Selk got Norded! But that is exactly what I did. So Des, I totally agree. Dragon, okay, welcome back. I think it's been roughly, actually, in the meantime, while I wait 30 more seconds, let's guess who came to see us? Oh, 1, 2, 3, oh, buddy, we got a Deadpool. Hey, you good boy? You're very, very cute. You know that? It's so funny. You usually like being held. You wanna go down? Okay. Oh, you're good, bud. I love how this quest NPC is not shy, all about, nope, not doing any work here. Go all do all that stuff for me. yeah, Dragon Star. Power, right. Whenever someone proclaims the one true God in Final Fantasy XIV, it means that person is tempered by a primal. Pretty much, yeah, in almost every case I can think of. Yeah, that's good. That's a really good point, Power. Which is probably something we all should have caught with Labre and the other Ascians during Realm Reborn. Yeah, and some did, some didn't, but yeah, exactly. It's literally true onto a Realm Reborn. Puppy! Yes, that is Deadpool. I wonder where he went. I thought the same thing. Jellybean, aw, yeah. Corgi makes, no, funnily enough, he's a purebred, Des. He's oh my god, a Swedish Valhund. That's what, hi, bud. Oh, now he's sitting on my feet. He's sleeping on my feet. His name is Deadpool. He is one of my partners, and Deadpool is very, look, I know everyone loves their dog, and this is not about loving dog, but just like in terms of like behaved, he is one of the best dogs ever. He's so good. It's so nice. Oh, buddy. You're very good. Shiva's the one true god, though. Issa, you and your simping nature. I should 6.07 to my sister, and she was wondering what the next KH game was set to come out. Yeah, exactly. Look, also, once you realize that, like, the staff clearly has a thing for white-haired women as well, you'll notice just how many white-haired women there are in the game. Gods, the voice, the singing, fleeting verse, I can still hear it. Stay clear of the southern shore, friend. It took every ounce of my strength to resist. You saw them too, right? Dead people just shambling about without a care in the world, except when they do seem to care, that is, and start shuffling towards the water. It's all there for the taking. 5 bleeding years worth of wreckage and their cargo. But those queer dead things and their voice. Actually, the voice was quite nice. But yeah, if anyone has any lore questions, even if it's not related to what we're talking about here, I'm always happy to talk about it. Or, more than even just lore questions, if you had a lore topic you want to discuss to, like, dive into, or maybe doesn't have a specific answer, or talk about the nuance on, that is one of the things chat's for, so please do use. This talk of a learned voice is disturbingly familiar, as if, oh no. But that's impossible. They're all dead, aren't they? Yeah, Eden, I'm pretty sure he definitely was sloshed. But if they have returned, then that would mean... Oh, beg your pardon.
I was just, thinking about something. Which reminds me, I received word from Master Mimidoa that Master Mimidoa would be arriving any moment. Apparently he grew tired of waiting for that lanky young lad with a 1,000-yalm stare to return, which I'm assuming is you. Don't know what sort of arrangement you had, but you should probably go and explain yourself. I wonder if they changed the adjective based on your race, because like using lanky for Eorzean. You stole as the true goddess of destruction. After all, she destroyed the little sun. Des, it's so funny you bring that up. I have a joke about that in our next video coming up. Where you been, initiate? Ain't getting any younger, you know. Eh? Some honey-voiced harlot's been calling out to the folk who wander near the ship's graveyard, and it's stirring up the dead and all. It does. Okay, you know what? It does look a lot like him, although it's a different. He has a different hairstyle, Endwalker. So maybe that is. Let's pull up Mimidoa real quick. Let's see if that is, because I'm totally forgetting that Charlene guy's name. Garland. It doesn't look like it's him, sadly. The one from Labyrinthos that helps with the Ragnarok. Eh? Bloody hells. This'll take me back to the days as a cannon boy, selling under old Miss Baird. Actually, would that be Enzar at this point? Within the past 20 years? Well, it depends on how old he is. This could he potentially, well, past 50 years would be... Yeah, this could have been, I probably would have been Enzar that he's referring to at that point. Depends on how old he would have been as a cannon boy, and how old he is now. But they wouldn't dare, would they? Not after the lesson we learned in last time. Bah, they bloody would. Though wouldn't that brazen old though wouldn't they brazen old biddies. Tiggle biddies. Some folk said as the first purge would be the last, but I knew deep down in me bones that this day would come, and come it has. I bet him me bum er siren behind all this. Nay, not one of the sanguine variety, initiate. I speak of the other kind. Them what got feathers and lure sailors to the watery graves with their sweet, sweet song. Oh, but it don't end there. No, drownings just start. See, even the death of a man stay bound to the beast, forced to do her bid until his corpse can do it no more. It's interesting that is the ethereal power to manipulate bones. Interesting. Unless this... Well, no, because if it's this ashkin, the soul may still be trapped in there animating the bones. Ooh, that's disturbing. Literally preventing them from returning to the ethereal sea. I hope that's not the case. 'Tis a fate I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, except maybe in a drink, and I'd regret it after. Nanny wrote, 'tis up to us to stop the hell's-born hussy after she takes another soul. Of course, we can't stand ye marching off to war without these. The siren don't have no power over man who can't hear her song. 'Tis lucky for you I carry a spare pair, and lucky for the both of us I'm a superstitious old sod, eh? Well, she ain't coming to us, so we'd best head out over to her, to the ship's graveyard, initiate. What all do we know about Kugane? Like, is it pretty much just pre-order bonus or pre-order open borders Japan as far as we know? I mean, it's basically, it is, if you've seen our short that I made on Kugane, Kugane is basically Dejima. It is the city outside of Hingashi proper, and Hingashi is basically Edo Japan, effectively. And it acts as the point at which everyone can interact with Hingashi without being allowed to come in. The culture around Kugane is, there's a lot to it. I can talk about this in a second. I guess question is, Eden, do you have a specific thing you want to know about, or do you just mean broadly what do we know? Because I have a whole section in Encyclopedia Eorzea Volume 2 I can also read later. Maybe I'll read it after stream or something for you. If she passes near the shore, she's sure to spy the campfire and come looking. Just a matter of waiting now. Oh, actually, Dead Man's Moan. Let's pull up Encyclopedia Eorzea Volume 1. Let me see if... Probably don't have an entry on Dead Man's Moan specifically, but if we can find the most similar elementals... No, Void Scent, no, we want Ashkin. Should be one more up? No, two more up. Soulkin, there we go, Ashkin. Whites. Okay, so the dead men are types of white. Harboring a mindless hatred for the living. Whites are the animated skeletons of deceased hearers.
tavern chatterers paint these undead creatures as the unholy instruments of dark sorceries, while more excitable souls declare them to be the advanced army of the King of the Seven Hells. Regardless of the truth behind the White's creation, the Holy See of Ishgard has declared all such abominations be subject to purification. So that's more specifically the Whites of, like, the Vigil. But based on the nature of Ashkin, typically, I would wonder if, like, I would hope that these are bones that are forcibly being reanimated through Aether rather than the souls being trapped in them. However, that's very much a possibility. Little Sun got KO'd, yeah. That's still one of the best burns in the game. I believe the joke I made is something to the effects of being burned so bad someone might have accidentally mistaken it for an Umbral Calamity. A lot of Oathar is still unknown to us, I believe. Well, kind of. To an extent, Dragonstar. We can talk about that. Like, there's the Aras, the Unpromised. There are places. I am beginning to think I wonder if some sly bugger ain't spun us the yarn here. Quiet. Do you hear that? 'Tis her. Look out there in the water. She's coming, Initiate. She comes. I think part of the problem is that too many people want her to come. I shouldn't have said that. Quick, lad. Shove them plugs in your ears and get ready for your fight. Soon as she realizes you're deaf to her ditties, she'll come. But are we blind to her titties? Jesus, I can't stop. She'll call on her thralls, and all will be well up to our necks and corpses before you know it. Hello, nurse. Hither embrace mine everything all. True love spurned his cruelty's reward. Yeah, Dragonstar, in some ways there is a lot of Oathar that's unknown to us, and I've talked about that in the geography videos and elsewhere. You have Hingashi, you have the Aras, you have the Unpromised. I mean, the Burn, there's not a lot much to say beyond what we already see in the dungeon. Nangsha. Nangsha is one of the big things. We may further explore the Golmore jungle. Cast out callous soul, dead to desire. Sorry, I am not prepared to sing today. I did not do any warm-ups for that. So I'm sure I'm pitchy as all hell. Spare mournful mistress, distress. Naksha, yeah, not Yangsha, yeah. So I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up on you guys and take care of this at the same time. Also, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any of her songs. The Siren's design is amazing. Yeah, we only see her for like 2 minutes. Yeah, it is a great design. It's one of the reasons I used her in my taxonomy video for like the front cover. Melody, last breath of death, the rhythm. Dost thou not to relent, regret forever alone? My love, a river, one look, soul shiver. No. Come on, face me, you skeleton bastard. You know, the fact that there's skeleton and drowned men makes me think she is actually corrupting the soul. No more dark, eclipse the heart. Duty complete. Sweet. Let's catch up. It's still one of the best. I recently did Evilise raids and then the Bulgarian Southern Front stuff. I would love if you could talk a bit about those more obscure realms in Othard. Yeah, I would love to Crotorize. I'll say Evilise right now is one of my weakest things, partly because I'm not a big fan of tactics and because I don't like Matsuno's writing. Not just like not the like fundamental things he's writing about, just his style. And so Evilise, and I also have some really big problems with how Boja is handled. But I can definitely talk about those. And I can definitely talk about those other places as well, and I will do so after this. Maybe we'll do a stream after stream in Discord or something where we can talk about that. Like Dalmashka and Naksha and stuff, yeah. I feel like such an ass right now. Are you watching me still? Where are you? Jesus Christ, Issa. Oh, my bad, I'm out. Hingashi, like, I wanted to know more about its government. Do they have shogun or an emperor? So, yeah. So, basically, it's, there's a whole shogunate thing going on. Eden, you know what? Let's go ahead and just do this. To all those watching for the A Realm Reborn replay, forgive me. Lore is in the way. And anyways, we're going to make good time. We're probably going to make it to Garuda with lots of time to spare, so it's probably good that I take some time to do some asides. There's a specific section that goes over this, and I remember most of it, but I want to make sure I get everything right, and I don't think I'll get everything perfectly right if I try to do it from memory. But, no, that's Doma. We want Hingashi. No, not the Ruby Sea. Not Satsukugane. Okay. Okay, there's a lot to talk about here. Specifically with Kugane. The government. So the power in Hingashi. So this is Hingashi because we're going to have to do both a little bit. The power in Hingashi rests in the hands of the Bakufu, a military government, but just like the historical Bakufu. Military government. However, the official head of state is the emperor, who entrusts the matters of governance to the shogun and his officials. For generations, the royal households have seen fit to favor the Mitsurugi clan, whose sons have served as strong leaders. It should be noted that while the current figurehead is male, the right of succession is not restricted to men alone. Absolute primogeniture is the Hingan tradition. So it doesn't matter, as long as you are the first in line, it doesn't matter what your gender is. That's Industries of Hingashi. Okay, so the opening of Kugane. Here's more of the Kugane stuff specifically. Or actually, you wanted Hingashi as well. So, regrettably, there's little information concerning Hingashi prior to the 4th Astral Era. I mean, honestly, the only thing we know about the 4th Astral Era is that there, in Othard, is that there's some elegant artifacts that were found there, and that that's around the time that the Heaven on High would have been built. It would have been built after the fallout of the 4th Umbral Calamity. Regrettably, there's little information concerning Hingashi prior to the 4th Astral Era. That's also where the Tenkoto and the Onishishu come from. The Onishishu are founded by a person who fled, who was a member of Alag. Extant Allagan records currently available for study make no mention of the island either. Therefore, it must be assumed that while Allagan Empire ruled the 3 great continents at the height of its power, its dominion did not extend to what would later be known as Hingashi. This presumption is further supported by the fact that in the limited archaeological surveys of the island, undertaken with the permission of the Bakufu, not a single Allagan ruin has been discovered. Sorry, I meant Othard. The Allagan tombstones were found, not on Hingashi. That was my bad. This is not to say there was no evidence of Allagan influence whatsoever. Oh, no, okay, so it was Hingashi as well. Whatsoever, though, as small artifacts such as jewelry, tombstones were unearthed. There we go. The prevailing theory at the time is that the islands were either deserted or home to only a token population prior to the 4th Umbral Calamity, at which point refugees fleeing the collapse of the empire came in mass. The Allagan trinkets found in Hingashi were brought by these new arrivals and who subsequently cast off the last vestiges of their fallen society and strove to create a new one free from the trappings of the past. Again, it should be stressed that this is a theory based on limited evidence, and it should not be taken as incontrovertible fact. First Emperor. The oldest surviving primary source discovered in Hingashi are wooden tablets, which date back to approximately 3 millennia. They are found on Koshu, the nation's largest island. So remember, there's Koshu and Shishu. Kind of like how there's Honshu, Kyushu, Hokkaido, and Okinawa, and I'm forgetting one. Shikoku. They were found in real world Japan. And if I pull up the map, you can see this. Also, yes, if you guys are laughing at me because I went on a tangent again, yeah, welcome to me in general. So yeah, you've got I keep wanting to say Honshu, but it's Koshu, and you can see that here, Koshu, And this is Shishu, I believe. I believe that's the name for it. I'll double check in a second. Koshu rose to prominence following the fall of its neighboring rivals. The clans had declared himself a great king and launched a campaign to bring all others to heel in the span of 300 years. His descendants managed to unite the whole of Western Koshu beneath one banner. Literally, the history of Hingashi is almost, it's not one-to-one, but is very close to Japan's history. It's very similar to a lot of the Sengoku era is its prehistory, though like there's a lot of Sengoku Japan also in Doma. An Age of Blood and Strife, basically the Sengoku period for them. The rise of the Mitsurugi clan, the current leading clan. Over the course of 600 years, Hingashi was ravaged by fires of war. Basically Sengoku period for them. The Mitsurugi clan alone stood above all others. Kanzen once more demonstrated his foresight, which he restored the imperial household to the power, declaring that the mandate he had to rule had been bequeathed to him by the Hingan emperor. Exactly what happened with the shogunate and, Tokugawa Ieyasu and all of that. In doing so, he appeared to honor ancient traditions and appease those who had yet yearned to return to the halcyon days, even if Sooth, the Mitsurugi clan, remained in truth power behind the throne. Yeah, literally, you then basically enter the modern time with the Mitsurugi clan, which Mitsurugi clan is very similar to Tokugawa Ieyasu and the Tokugawa shogunate and all of that. So, then you get into the opening of Kugane. Though Mitsurugi Bakufu faced resistance from several clans, it was a far cry from the chaos which once consumed the island nation. Peace had come to Hingashi, and while the clans were not once to relinquish their independence, they indeed took many measures to preserve it. They could not deny that there was some benefit in cooperating with the new government. No longer preoccupied with internal strife, the people were at long last free to look beyond their borders and see what wonders the world held, and many were quite eager to do so. In recent years, however, the Bakufu have grown weary of foreign interests, and this ties into the real-world history of it. They were very worried about foreign religions, foreign ideas, concepts, and trades getting into Japan. Partly rightly so, because every time that happened, like with Buddhism, it threw things way out of whack and into chaos. And so, like, that's why they were so harsh on the Christian missionaries in the throughout history, as well as a lot of different things for long periods of time. And it wasn't until America came in with literal warships and said, you will trade with us or we're going to blow you to high hell, that they were like, okay, we have to. In recent years, however, the Bakufu has grown foreign interest. The rise of the Garlean Empire and its aggressive expansions with the aid of Magitech has gone unnoticed, nor has the struggle of domans across the Ruby Sea not been a source of some concern. The fall of Damascus served to underscore this and spurn Hingashi to, like Razad Han before it, formally declare themselves neutral with regards to Garlemald's actions. As such, they will not intervene in the affairs of Yanksha or Nagsha. For the time being, the Bakufu maintains its strict isolationist policies and devotes the majority of its attention to internal affairs, while permitting only small measures of foreign trade to take place via the port of Kugane, on Shishu. I was right, it is Shishu is the smaller island. The port is also home to several embassies, including most notably the Garlean Empire. And indeed, Kugane could be said to exemplify the nation's precarious position. All are welcome, but none are friends. And especially with Charlene's isolationist disposition melting with in the days following 6.0, you can imagine that there's a non-zero chance that Kugane will be, or not Kugane, Hingashi will happen as well. That it might be a far more complicated affair. The Imperial Court, presided over by the Emperor Reigen. The Imperial Court was once the center of Hingan political power, but over time has virtually lost all influence. By all account, it continues to exist only on a concession to historical traditions. In accordance with said tradition, the Bakufu is permitted to rule by grace of the Emperor, but there ends the court's official involvement in matters of governance. The Emperor and his cadre busy themselves by promoting the arts through activities such as poetry recitals and tea parties. He also plays an important role in various religious ceremonies to ensure bountiful harvests and prosperous trades. The Bakufu. Hingashi's true heart of governance is the Bakufu, the first established by Kanzan of the Mitsurugi clan following the prolonged period of internal strife. Successive leaders have come from this powerful family, which rules from the capital of Bukyo, within Onokumi, their ancestral home on the island of Koshu. The Bakufu has consolidated its political and military might at Bukyo Castle, where many samurai are called to serve as bureaucrats for a time. Their power is far from absolute, though as many regions in the clan retain a measure of autonomy, resulting in a system that may or may not be described as feudalism. And then there's a lot of different NPCs, and the two things I want to hit on then are the Kugane Bugyo. The hand of the Bakufu in Kugane, the Bugyo, is the most senior official in the local government. As Kugane is the sole open port within the whole of Hingashi, the expectations and burdens heaped upon the magistrate far exceed those of his peers. In other domains, those his peers in other domains must endure. Should a foreigner commit a crime, for example, it would fall to the Bugio to administer appropriate punishment. However, in such matters, he must consider the wider circumstances, as reckless action could lead to an international incident. Therefore, the position of Bugio in Kugane is not awarded lightly, and familial connections alone will not suffice. One must possess a keen mind and a talent for navigating political, domestic, and foreign politics, domestic and foreign, to even be considered eligible. So that's not everything by a long shot, but I hope that was in some way helpful. I'm gonna catch up on chat now. Did you see my story? Also watching Chris doing my other stuff. Yeah, no worries. Siren design is made. Lol, being creep. The book. I do be creeping. Sorry for the off-roading of the stream, guys. Seems as though you'll be surveilled for archival purposes. I want to Glamour change your teleport to the Ascian port. Oh, same here. Ascian portal is already in the game. They should be able to do it. I need to get those books when they're reprinted. Yep, Crowder Eyes. I've had them pre-ordered. Many people have them. They should be coming out in August. They really are closed off as a historical Japan. Makes me want to go. They're literally templated off of the Sengoku period mixed with the Edo period. And I guess a little bit of the Restoration. It's one of my favorite periods of Japanese history. I can't... Oh god. Well, whatever. Really close off the historical. Make me want to go to America. Man, it makes me want to go all America on them to explore their lands. Of course, I wouldn't want to use Calamity there. That would be cruel. I mean, there's a good chance that they'll open up regardless. Did they not become isolationists and reliant on the Dutch? Here, let me show. Did they not become isolationists and reliant on the Dutch after Christian peasants uprising and shogunate afraid of Christianites' power? Did they not become isolationists and reliant on the Dutch after Christian peasants uprising? Well, I mean, the Dutch had Christian missionaries and were a problem too. The Dutch were just one of the only people allowed in Dejima for a long period of time. But they became isolationists before. It wasn't just Western influence. It was a much broader cutting off of ties and connections. After those rebellion isolationists in the US and UK were like, you trade now. Pretty much, yeah. Lore whore. Yep. Yeah. I guess I gotta figure out some merch that says lore whore. But I need to like get an artist. I gotta pay an artist to like design, like a font that's like a beautiful image of just lore whore. Square has a tendency to throw in an area based off of feudal Japan in most of their games. Yeah, it's a very common, and understandably so. But I mean, if you look at the maps of the world, Eorzea is broadly Western Europe. Ilsabard is broadly Eastern Europe. Othar is broadly Asia. Hingashi is broadly Japan. Marasidia, as far as we know, is like Australia, Africa. We don't know for sure. It seems like there's a combination of some Northern African things as well. We can't be sure until we ever go there. And then the New World is just straight up North and South America. I mean, broadly it is those things, but it's also kind of specifically those things. To all of those who waited through that, sorry. Eh? Am I all right? Better than that, Initiate. Happy as a sailor in a whorehouse I am. Of course, I'd be happy to have a sailor who's two whatsits if we'd gotten the songstress, but you can't have everything, can ye? She'll not come crooning round here again, though not for a while any road. And if she does, well, we know what to do, don't we? Thanks for the help, but bugger me, I clean forgot your name. Remind me. Elio? Don't recall having no Initiate by that name. But if you're not me old mate, or what's his name? Why you been so bloody helpful? Never mind. Be seeing you, lad. So, do we know how they were able to keep Garlemald from simply taking over like everyone else as their samurai that much stronger? No, it's Hingashi didn't hold them at bay through military might. They held them through through politics and through Garlemald basically being like, it's not worth it right now. Because one of the things Garlemald was really good at is, for instance, remember, they took over the nations around Garlemald, then the rest of Ilsabard, then Othard, then headed over to Eorzea. So, like, when it came to Thavnair and Hingashi, while they might have put up some resistance, the main reason they didn't was just, like, it's not worth it right now, and we've got bigger fish to fry. And remember, they only took over Doma, like, 25 years ago, or 20-ish years ago. 20... I'm trying to remember the order. It's 25 for Doma, and I think 20 for Alamigo, I think is what I'm thinking of. Anyways, the point being there that you then have that, and they're trying to concrete that power, but they're constantly dealing with problems in Othard. So they're still on that front. They're not worrying about everything. I mean, remember, they haven't taken over the steppe, and the reason they haven't taken over the steppe isn't because the steppes are such good fighters. It's because they're like, not worth it right now. We're good. We've got the main bastions of power. But they're still dealing with, Dalmascan resistance. You literally have, they don't sack Rabanastre until recently because of all the resistance that they're getting. You then have Eorzea with how it pushed back, and you had what happened over Silvertear Lake with Agrius, so they're weakened by that. Then you had the War of Succession. So like Garlemald had a lot of things on it, a lot of plates spinning. So Hingashi and Thavnair just were like, whatever. We'll get to that later once we've taken over the rest of everything else and have it concreted. For Alamigo! Indeed. For Alamigo, indeed. You mean it was a siren? But how were you able to resist its song? I see. I had heard that Master Mimi Mudoa was involved in the first purge, but I never actually... Having survived an ordeal like that, I can't blame him for carrying earplugs around with him. Anyway, I have something for you. The corrupted crystal you wanted, safely sealed within the pot, just as you requested. Please take it with my compliments. Imagine Xenos with the text. L'Oreal. Before the Puritans came to the U.S., they hung out in Holland for a while. Yeah. No, don't be sorry. We like it when you feed us lore. Okay, Croter Eyes. Good. I'm glad. That's always the thing, is that those of you who are passionate, I think, deeply love it. And then the average viewer may be like, can we get back to Realm Reborn and the MSQ? Thank you. Weird question. Does Garlean represent Europe's imperial tendencies from history? Garlemald is a combination of multiple things. It's a combination of the Third Reich mixed with the British Empire. And then there's a third reference point that I'm forgetting that I commonly associate it with. But it's a couple things. Very few things in 14 are like one reference point. They're usually a confluence of multiple reference points with maybe one that's a primary one. But it's definitely not just the British Empire. It's definitely not just the Third Reich. Slope. And that's not a weird question. That's an interesting question. Like, talking about that, that's... I mean, hell, what else are we here for? Oh, man, I want that cloud so bad. I want that Amazon cloud so bad. But they don't sell it anymore. They're like fascist Italy, but slightly more competent. Yeah. Yeah, somewhat. I mean, honestly, there's like... you can pretty much look at any fascist nation and like apply a lot of the ideas behind that to what happened behind Garlemald. And I mean, what happened behind Solus, right? Like, you make people desperate. And then when you make people desperate, they're desperate and they'll do anything. And then you find a charismatic leader who leads them into what for them is a golden era and at the sacrifice of anything. Rome. Thank you, Croter Eyes. That is what of course, thank you, Croter Eyes. That is what I was like, I know I'm forgetting something that's major, but yes, Rome, British Empire, and the Third Reich are the three main cultural contributors by far. Oh, it's you. Welcome back, Elio. You're looking remarkably hale, I must say. And more importantly, alive. You are alive, aren't you? Ah, the conquering hero returns bearing a gift. Might have a closer look. Might I have a closer look? Impressive. Very impressive indeed. Yes, I think you'll be quite pleased with this specimen. Congratulations, Elio. Seldom have I ever encountered a corrupted crystal composed of such volatile overabundance of fire-aspected aether. What? You wanted a corrupted crystal composed of ice-aspected aether to counteract the effects of the raging wind? Well, this specimen won't help you there. Anyone who knows anything about the elements could tell you that. You'll just have to keep looking, I suppose. Don't fret now. I know exactly where to find the corrupted crystal comprised of ice-aspected aether. An associate of mine in Gridania has been studying the effect of one such crystal on living beings. Eh? What's with the expression? I thought you'd be pleased to hear this news. This is not another wild dodo chase, I assure you. And what's even better is that this time, you needn't use the warded pot of yours to protect yourself from the crystal's energies. Hydaelyn's findings suggest that it is quite safe. Wait, if it's quite safe, then why is it... Why, you ask? Well, let's just say that it has undergone a unique process that has rendered such precautions unnecessary. Anyways, do not let me keep you. It has been a pleasure, Elio. Come back and see me sometime, alright? The cash shop sells a one-character version of the cloud. No, I have the gold version. No, the Amazon version is the white one. The gold version is the one that they sell in the store. Spirit Songstress, because I already have the gold one. No, the average viewer is like, when is he going to stop going to skip to Shadowbringers? Oh, well, that's not entirely unfair, Professor, but also that literally would defeat the point. Yeah, Garmo is kind of like a cross between ancient Rome, Imperial Germany, and Soviet Union. Yeah, there's some Soviet aspects to it too. I think the different, like with their cold and harsh environment and the Eastern European touches, I think the reason that I'm sometimes less prone to the Soviet Union stuff is because there isn't a real easy parallel between any of the leaders of the Soviet Union or the communistic aspects, or the mistakes the famines and mistakes that may have resulted from that when it comes to Garlemald. So other than being in a snow-blighted realm, I don't have a specific way to associate it with the Union. But if someone has, I'd love for someone to point it out. I always thought they were heavily based on the Roman Empire. They are. I mean, there's this is the same way. They're based off the Roman Empire in some meaningful ways in, like, for instance, their naming system. But you also have to remember that, for instance, like the Third Reich was taking off, a lot of ideas, as well as fascist Italy were taking a lot of things from the Roman Empire as well. And on top of that, nothing's a singular thing. Like, you look at Charlian and you're like, oh, that's super ancient classical Greece, right? But it's not. Charlian's not just classical Greece. It's got a lot of other aspects and attributes infused to it as well. Greetings and salutation, Mr. Forgerant, I presume. Sienna informed me of your adventures in Airport. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. Though, as Professor Lambient has found saying, no action taken in the name of science is ever truly wasteful. To the matter at hand, cryptid crystals possessing the properties you seek could be found in abundance at the Standing Cross following the calamity. Alas, that is no longer the case, and while there is at least one suitable crystal that remains to be found within the Twelveswood, precisely where is at any given moment is more difficult to say. Permit me to explain. You're familiar with Spriggans, yes? The furry little rascals that are wont to seek out ores and other stones. Well, one such creature with its infamously insatiable appetite has single-handedly devoured every corrupted crystal in the Twelveswood. Fortunately, I assume not, though, over in the North Shroud. Fortunately for you, these crystals take an eternity to digest, assuming they even can be digested, and I am reasonably confident that one still resides within its gut. It's quite fascinating, really. My theory is that Giggity first consumed a corrupted crystal when... You couldn't care less about this, could you? No, please tell me more! To the point, then. Giggity seldom makes his presence felt unless... Giggity seldom makes his presence felt unless there's particularly fine fodder to be had. Therefore, we shall require a lure, and I have precisely the sort you will find impossible to resist. Simply place this true heart. I shall save the story of its origin, of its unusual name for another occasion, outside of the Spriggan's lair, and wait for the opportune moment to pounce. As for the methods by which you retrieve the crystal from its guts, I shall leave that to your discretion. I always thought they were heavily based on it's like a cursed union of steampunk, Soviet Union, and Rome. Yeah. By the way, if you're still looking for names, I am Brotherhood, actually. Thank you for giving those. For the 4 names, I think a name surrounding these events might be fun. Best Boy, Bateron's family. Something like Bateron. Yeah, something with Bateron. Episode 1, I might do something with, like, Journey Begins, or just because it's episode 1, but that's a good idea. Certain Reavers, Redemption Theme, Summerfield Farm, Star Sassy Ashtola. These are all helpful regardless, because they're reminding me exactly what went down in them. Yeah, Discount Darth Vader. Ada's Decline. I have to save Discount Darth Vader for the I can do Ada's Decline. I might do that, or something with, because the Discount Darth Vader needs to be saved for when we get to the Praetorium. That's for sure. Our first genocide. Buried horrors, buried tales, all good. Thank you so much, Brotherhood. I really appreciate you going out of your way to having watched them and listed some ideas. So having watched you guys on Work to Game, I thought I'd ask of you, which job from the other FF games would you not want to be added in the future? I don't want a green mage that's a time mage. I do not want anything that's a time magic user, because that just opens up so many cans of worms. And there's a reason that they took out a lot of that from Astrologian already. I know other people do want that. I would love like a synergist saboteur green mage. Some version of the green mage that uses aspects of it. What's a job? There's not that many jobs left from prior existing Final Fantasy games that they don't even have. I'm thinking. If anyone wants to list some of the jobs that exist in the game that they don't have, I'm having a hard time thinking about like Crystal Chronicles, like any spin-offs I don't have in mind. So if people have pitches, I'd love to hear it. But I'd love to talk about it, Nick. So, you know, even if we don't get around to it here, we can totally get around to it on the Discord later. The way I see the Garleans associated with the USCR isn't politically, but more socially, the way they treat their soldiers, the oppressive, overwhelming presence they have, and their military might. I mean, Eden, you are not wrong. I guess part of the reason I would not disagree, but I would say, like, that's also so true of the Third Reich. I think what you could say, though, is the way they treat their conscripts, the way that from outside, yeah, some of that is, like, just throw bodies at the problem is you know, a little unfair to the Soviet Union, because there was more to that, but there was a certain amount of it that was that. I've made notes of them, Elio. Thank you, Ray Ray. You are always the best and so helpful, and I know you're tired, so I appreciate it. I would love to see a chemist job. Yep, I've pitched a chemist job. I think chemist job, I don't remember if we talked about that. My pitch on a chemist, though, is actually it's range DPS, and you're, like, mixing potions and, like, tossing them for different effects and different stuff. That's my version of the chemist. And I think that'd be fun, and there's a lot you could do with that identity, in my mind anyways. The Curious Case of Giggity. Chat knows better names. Yeah, and again, thanks, Brotherhood. And hubris that caused them to lose to the barbarians, Afghanistan. Yeah, I guess the thing is like, if anything, the thing that made them lose, though, was the infighting a la something more like Rome. And the main reason that they lose in Baja and Dalmasca is because everything's gone to shit at home. In some ways, like, if Garlemald proper had not been dealing with its War of Successions and then the stuff that happens with Xenos and Fandaniel, they could have crushed the Bajan uprising, and the, there's a reason that, you know, Lente's tears went underground, because it's like the Bajan uprising and Worlit's uprising could not have happened if all the other shit that was going down wasn't going down. But that's my opinion. As a theoretical question, if the Warrior of Light joined the Empire, what rank will we get? Perhaps Sas? Ooh. You know, I'd have to think about that, because there's so much context around when is the Warrior of Light joining it. Would we betray them? Would we betray our people to join them? Because in that case, we, you know, I mean, do we at that point even get Viator? Even though we're joining the Garleans? I feel like that would be like the narrative, like, pick in the heart would be like getting traitor, you know, or wanderer as our title, even though we're sacrificing all that we love for Garlemald. But it's an interesting question, AC. Also, hey, AC, I don't know if I saw you earlier, but welcome, glad to have you. Also, Alamigo is very much based on Eastern Europe, which was suppressed by USSR for about 50 years. Yeah, Alamigo has a lot of inspirations that come from Western Europe, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. Like, Alamigo's a mishmash of many things. Because, like, for instance, like, Baja is almost straight up, if you want to think of, not one-to-one, but a direct reference point, Baja is like Turkey. You know, there's a lot of, like, Middle Eastern, but especially Turkey, and some Eastern European countries. I think chemists would benefit from a modified system of combining chemicals akin to a Mudra system. Yeah, AC, exactly. That's something like that. I think you'd have to play with it a little bit to make it not just the Mudra system, but yeah, I had that same idea in mind. Pray do not sneak up on me like that. I was engrossed in... Wait, what is that? What is that god's awful smell? My word, that is a breathtakingly beautiful crystal. I see my suspicion was not mistaken. Ugh. I also see you weren't adverse to digging through a Spriggan's entrails for your prize. We owe our furry friend a debt of gratitude, you know. This thick coating of digestive juice is protecting us from the harmful effects of the crystal, just as the warded pot you once used did. Why so glum, friend? You finally obtained the corrupted crystal you sought, one overflowing with earth-aspected aether. Calm down, my jest. It's comprised of ice-aspected aether. Worry not. I suppose that joke was in poor taste, considering your previous two attempts were for naught. Beg your pardon, Helio. I forget to return your crystal to you. Oh, and there was a message for you from Professor Lambient. Something about a man named Marcus? Apparently the professor misses the intellectual stimulation. Forgive me, I should have written it down. It occurs to me that I have to ask you why you need that crystal. You aren't planning anything nefarious, are you? It would reflect poorly on me and my research if it was used for evil ends.
Ah, well, perhaps it's best I remain ignorant. I didn't become the professor's greatest pupil by filling my head with the unnecessary information. Ah, yes, his 3 greatest pupils. Third Reich because they make over-engineered stuff that is likely to break down and hard to repair. That too, Des. That too. Tossing potions as a chemist would be hilarious and fun. Yeah, and I do think there's a lot of versions of different weapon ideas. I think you could have like a chemist set. I think you need a different name, and there are a lot of like names you could come up with or something as like a weapon. And then the thing is that there's a lot of different designs you could have for chemist set. The idea of a chemist is there's nothing like that we have that really matches that other than like I guess kind of alchemist, but that's not really even chemistry. Like it is chemistry, but like you have the ethereal forge, right? And so that's of a very different look and design, so it doesn't even cross over with that. And then it would give us a 4th range DPS. I feel like it makes sense. Now, whether or not we get anything at all like that ever, who the frick knows? Like, if there's anything I can say, it's look to the jobs that they show. Look at the idea job things that they show as touch points. Like, for instance, the Shugendo stuff that we see in the role quests. But don't even treat that as actuality. For those of you who played Shadowbringers, if you saw Ranjit, you might have been like, that's the next job. And while yes, everything about the premise of Ranjit's ability and attacks and everything ends up being Reaper, it's not 1-to-1. It's not that's the thing. You know, it's a version of that idea may become a new job. And they've set up some hints all throughout Endwalker and the role quests for future ideas. And you all know how I feel about Geomancer. Greetings, sir. Do you wish to proceed to your vessel? Listening to 4 streams is interesting. Yeah, or why are you doing that? Actually, chat, wouldn't Allagan be more Europe Imperial era because the conquest of all of Eorzean the world? I mean, Allag is also Roman. Like, the thing is that, like, you can make arguments for Allag in a bunch of different ways. Allag is also Rome. Like, it's not as simple as just one or the other. Allag is also the British Empire. It's not as much the Third Reich. If anything, I think definitely the most analogous is Rome, especially with its like apathy eventually getting its fall. You know, I think due to the Third Eye, the helmets Garleans have actually benefit them because they don't have to turn their necks like the old Batman costume in the Tim Burton movies. I just tuned in a while ago. Just woke up from a nap. Oh, well, welcome to the waking world. Gonna go to my social thing. Enjoy the stream, everyone. Thanks, Issa. Are corrupted crystals astral or umbral? Astral. Change. Astral is change. Umbral is passivity. So they are hyper astrally charged, and that's also why the 7th Umbral Calamity was a calamity of astral, the / darkness, because astral and darkness are correlated, but they are not synonyms. But that is why the byproducts of like the Mega Flare and stuff, and why when you go into binding coils, all the corrupted crystals are astrally aligned. Chemists could have the ability to give potions to others, healers without magic, but it'd take them instead. Well, yeah, the thing is, too, is if you look at the jobs, right, if you have 4 DPS ranged, one of the things you could do is you could have 2 be hardcore offensive and 2 be hardcore, like, more supportive. Not hardcore, but, like, you can make the chemist kind of, like, in line with machinist with a couple of things that might be helpful for allies, and then you have dancer and bard being, like, the support DPS. My idea for chemical weapon is chemical launcher, like imagine a grenade launcher but for chemicals. Exactly. Wait, Thavner, wasn't there a guy who was a chemist in Kugane, the man from Thavner? I mean, there's a couple people you could be referring to. I'm not entirely sure. There's, the man from chemist in Kugane. I don't know if you're referring to the relic people, but yeah, there are chemists in Kugane. There are alchemists in Kugane from Thavner, because Kugane and Thavner have active relationships. Imagine a chemist having a belt full of vials and little bombs and such, similar to the machinist aetherology. Yeah, Crotorize, that's the thing, is you have to make sure you don't just cross over the machinist, which is why you have to kind of avoid some of the engineer aesthetic in my mind. But yeah, even with all our stalling, my friends, Elio did reach Garuda, it seems. What you gonna do? Funny you mentioned Rome, because I've been seeing a lot of Life of Brian clips involving a certain biggest. I love that movie. Allag and its chimerical experiments does feel a little Third Reichy, though. Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair, Eden. That's a really good point. When do machinists get Davy Crockett nukes? 7.0. Does Lancer have any abilities that use its MP? Yeah, they have multiple. Or does Lancer or Dragoon? Do you mean Lancer specifically? Because if so, I don't remember Lancer. Very well. All repairs and modifications have been completed, Elio. Once you bring me the crystals, nothing will stand between us and Garuda. Actually, let's talk to Alphino first. Why do you tarry, Alio? Our work is not yet finished. We must press onward until the Harpy Queen lies broken at our feet. Okay. Do you find it writable when I say the name Bigus? I'll need to run some tests to be sure, but this looks exactly what we need. Oh no. I'll see that your hard work doesn't go to waste. The Enterprise is already more than a common airship, but mark my words, soon it will become something greater, something extraordinary. This is me. This is what I was born to do. One of my favorite songs in the game, well, not one of my favorite Aram Reborn songs is coming up, and I'm very excited. And I may even just sit and listen to it for a second while I check chat. According to my tests, the device is now functioning in perfect harmony with the crystals, meaning we can leave whenever you're ready. But you must understand, tests can only tell one so much. Until we approach the Howling Eye, until we attempt to breach the barrier itself, I cannot be sure that this will work. I think it only fair to tell you that there's a small, but statistically significant chance that the crystal could trigger a massive... mayhap it's better that we remain positive. Elio, I want to thank you for reuniting me with my ship, for trusting in me to develop this plan, and for everything. You've helped me to rediscover a part of myself I had forgotten. I'm not the man I once was, and I do not know if I ever shall be, but I do know one thing. This feels right. My apologies for the sudden outpouring of sentiment. I would have waited until after the mission, but, well, you understand.
There. She's ready.
Woo, I get to take a break.
Ah, she stirs.
Anybody else think his arm guard looks like an oven mitt? Like, it kind of should have, because it's for resisting heat temperature differential. So, like, it should, but I just always think that. I ain't holding your hand. Yet.
To Kurthus, and an audience with the Harpy Queen Garuda. Enterprise, engage.
It's funny, though, because the only thing that changed between his model in 1.0 and 2.0 is his beard. I think it's just the fact that he has white hair that, like, makes it feel like he's so old. But he's in his, like, 20s or early 30s, I'm pretty sure. Engage. Oh, that was a really cool sleight of hand on their part.
Damn it. I once flew in this airship, and I was not alone. There were adventurers on board. Adventurers like you.
Flying off to go fight Snail Van Darnus. Flamine is just a granny regardless.
Just how long have I worn these damn goggles?
This is my favorite. This is the theme, one of my favorite themes in A Realm Reborn. Sid's theme.
Yes, I fancied myself a trendsetter in my younger days. The young prodigy, admired by all, exactly like his father. Born and raised in Garlemald, It was
I try to
only
work
natural
this-
that the precocious young student should become an engineer. Had his father not
I try to
done
work
the
this-
same?
I try to work the song into as many of my videos as I can. That makes sense. It's just so hopeful.
Father, when did we stop seeing eye to eye? When did Meteor become your everything, and your loved ones cease to matter?
For those who don't know what he's talking about, he's referencing the Bojan incident and what happened with his father in Dalamud. Which we knew about long before we ever went to Baja.
You abandoned us all, but he was there for me, Father. There for me when you were not.
You heard it here. Gaius a good foster daddy.
Though he proved no better in the end. Gaius was just another man, with an all-consuming obsession.
I wish they did more visuals like this. Like, they do some, but they've gotten so economic to make sure that they can make enough content fast enough that we don't get some, like,
And so
really
I
cool
ran,
shots.
left the Empire
one-off
behind
shots.
and came to Eorzea, where I built the ironworks.
Don't get me wrong. The average, like, shot choreography is way better now, but less unique shots. Yes, Gaius, yes, I do, AC. And I'll get to all these questions afterwards. I'm excited to talk about this. So remember,
yes,
Echo
it was
Visions
then
are-
that I first
Oh, yeah.
donned these goggles. Eorzea opened my eyes. It was home to so many manner of people, each with their own hopes and dreams. People worth saving, and so I fought beside them. I wanted to prove that my knowledge could serve a nobler purpose. I wanted to prove that there was another way. And it all began that day when I found my new home.
I'm sad that we don't get. They almost never use this.
I had
Song,
forgotten how
like, ever.
wonderful it was. The wind in your hair, the endless sky. That light. It was you, wasn't it? It's surprising how few people know this, but all pure-blood Garleans have a third eye. Perhaps mine helped me recognize you, or perhaps it was just a lucky guess. The Enterprise was made for this, to carry Eorzea's protectors into battle. I am proud to be able to call her my own.
Sid? What exactly do you remember?
Alfinod, my boy. Sorry to have been such a burden.
Alphanod.
I remember everything. My name, my people, and my purpose. Everything.
Alphanod.
Come. It would be rude to keep Garuda waiting.
Okay, let's catch up on you lovely folks. Oh god. I'm gonna pause this because I know I'm not gonna get a chance to stop after. Oh right, I forgot that you actually get to walk in the Accessibly region. All right, let's catch up on you guys. Okay. Oh my god, you get to went ham. Okay. Ironworks is just a front. Sid is secretly baking the whole time. You didn't earn that trek for reference. Yeah, it's the beard that makes him look older. Yeah, Flaming's like 30. His voice acting. Yeah, it's fine. It's not terrible. It's fine. It's not the problem. Like there are way worse in Aram Reborn. But yeah, this part coming up confused me for the longest time. Hey John, welcome. Glad to have you. What part was it that specifically confused you? Dragonstar, I have cooked tank parts before now. Yes, I love cooking tank parts for the dwarf side quests. Admired by all except Nero. Well, no, Nero does admire the shit out of him. He's obsessed with him because he wants to be better than him. Love reading the... I mean, I do think he does admire them as well. He'll never admit it, though. I love reading that side story of Sid and Nero in their academy days. Yeah, AC, it's a good story. Oh, Nero's in love with Sid, though, which is why he's so obsessed with them. It looks like a young Bosch von Ronsenberg. Yeah, a little bit. Power, okay, wait, seriously, how did I miss? Well, that's... So a lot of people treat Nero as like in love with him. I would treat it more that like Nero is passionate about Sid in the only way that Nero... If anything, I see Nero as a way more ace boy who cares about nothing more than technology and power. Like he doesn't have time for like emotional relationships, let alone the idea of sex. That's a personal read, but yeah. Do you think Gaius had genuine concern from Sid with Metis when Metis wasn't there? Yes, 100%. Gaius, for whatever you want to say about how wrong some of his choices are, he is sincere in his care for others. That is one thing that is consistent with Ratatan, with his children, with just everyone. So I would in every way assume that he was sincere. His goggles are a paradox? His goggles are a paradox? I'm not sure I understand why. Are Biggs and Wedge also Garleans? Garleans in terms of being born within the Empire, not actual Garleans, no. They were born in the Empire. But they were born in parts of Ilsabar that had been taken over. Brotherhood, it's like the only way Nero could be obsessed with Sid is if he was actually in love with him, but in denial about it. I mean, no, but like, not really, because the things he's obsessed with are knowledge, a grandeur. Sid is the thing he has to beat, so he's obsessed with it. You know, fuck, I don't, Sasuke Naruto. Biggs and Wedge were former conscripts. Alpha Nod. Oh, too bad we would have been spicy. Could have just been jealous sibling or subordinate. I mean, to be fair, Brotherhood, Power isn't wrong that a lot of the fan base treats them that way, and I will jokingly treat them that way. So, Alpha Nerd and Nerd. You and the VA for Sid and AR is also the VA for Decidius Warrior of Light. Oh, that's cool. Oh, when the Warrior of Light shows up in flashback. Oh, yeah, that's just because remember that the Echo Visions are us touching someone's soul and their memory, and it's us basically being inside of his memory and soul and helping him to remember. That's what's going on there. Ray Ray, I forgot about that. What did Ray Ray say? I have no idea what... Oh, yeah, talking about the cooked tanks, yeah. If you enjoyed this... Thank you, Ray Ray. Goku Vegeta. Yes, that's... Ramsey, that's way better. Goku Vegeta. That's exactly what it is. For the longest time, I thought it was some hint that we were the Warrior of Light from 1.0, but they just never went back to it. Yeah, so that event is happening before 1.0, because that's Sid fleeing from Garlemald in the first place. But, I mean, you can't... There's a lot of evidence to suggest you can be the Warrior of Light from 1.0, even if you don't have a legacy account. There's a lot of ways you can absolutely just assume you were. Like, when I play, I assume my character was the Warrior of Light from 1.0. Everything... There are multiple things that actively support it, and really nothing that detracts from it. And even in this Realm Reborn replay, we've seen that play out. Hope that was helpful, John. Hey, Auroria! Glad you can join us. Glad to have you. All is well. Well, I'm a bit exhausted and it's been a rough morning or day, but it's been nice to talk to you guys and it's been nice to play, and I always feel better after doing the stream because one, who doesn't like a little bit of attention, but secondly, being able to socialize and talk and have to maintain energy then makes it so I can carry that throughout the rest of the day. Whereas if I'm already starting at a low, it's hard to get the ball moving. What's Sid gotta say? What is it, Elio? Don't tell me you're having second thoughts at a time like this. Or do you truly wish to return to Gridania? Oh, you can return to Gridania. Well, I guess that makes sense. So, we're in the Accessibly place with Howling Eye. You know, let's actually theorize. Well, if Zethletal's to the east... The Howling... It's interesting, because if we open up the map, right? You see this. Okay, you see an edge here. There's a geographic landmass here. If we go out, it shows us here.
which is interesting because the Howling Eye then is between the Kurthus Western Highlands and Kurthus proper. And yet, Abalathia's spine and Zulfatal are, well, I mean, Abalathia's spine's all over here, but Zulfatal is over here. So what's interesting is the idea that it's actually in here. Or, well, actually, no, because the Western Highlands would be somewhere in here. So it would be more like here-ish, because we'd have to be north of Yafame. So we'd have to either be somewhere in here, or, despite what the map's doing when we press M, what makes the most sense is to assume the Howling Eye is somewhere in here. Goku, Vegeta, Naruto, Sasuke, Yusuke, Hiei, that's relationships Sid and Nero have. Yeah, I mean, it's a very classic, not just even shonen, but like Japanese rivalry narrative. It's like it shows up in all sorts of Japanese media. I do apologize for being late. No. Oh my god, no. Thanks for joining in. Don't ever stress. To all of you, don't ever stress if you're late. Just, I know I'm happy to have you. I got distracted by getting my hot bars organized for leveling. Hope you feel better soon. Thanks, Aurora. I really appreciate it. All our efforts, all our travels, all of it. All of our efforts, all of our travels, all of it was for this. You didn't do shit! Make ready, Elio, for the end is nigh, be it hers or our own. I'm looking forward to getting to trials and being able to play with you guys. Yeah, definitely. I did finally look it up when I wasn't worried about spoilers, and there was a gist of what I saw. Cool. The confirmations definitely helps, though. Awesome. I'm glad it was helpful, John. Crotorize. I think it's more near Zelfatal. The zone maps are not really geographically accurate. No. If you ask Chris from Work to Game, no, they aren't. Broadly, they're pretty good. Who dares intrude upon my sanctuary? Your insolence shall not go unpunished, Landwalker. Twelve's Preserve. She's huge. That's what she said. Well, that's what he said. Oh, I don't have an Exalia accent. Oh, crap. Over there. Look. Oh, 下 kobold. Amalja and kobold prisoners. But why would the Exali bring them here? Whether have come you hither, foolish mortals? Garuda, we are come to put an end to your reign of terror. Hear you this blasphemy, my children? These landwalkers would bring me low. You who are bound to crawl upon the earth should revere me, for I am the wind! Did we not take to the skies and slip your defenses? We are bound by nothing, Garuda. You think your playthings give you strength? They will not help you, Landwalker. This is my realm, where none can challenge my supremacy. Struggle though you may, I shall slake the roots with your blood and festoon the canopy with your entrails! Squawk! Slay the unfeathered ones we shall, as offering to Garuda they will serve. Leave the Exalt to us, Elio. We will keep them distracted while you deal with her. Do not fail, Elio. Remember, you fight for the Scions. For Eorzea. Real helpful, Alphino. Real helpful. Oh, I love the theme. Such a good musical theme. This worm would die by my own hand. Come then, I shall grant you that which you seek. Let's get the Garuda booty! I will say this is my favorite primal theme by far in A Realm Reborn. Well, okay, assuming 2.0, because my favorite probably ends up being Oblivion. Y'all, you may want to move. Here, let me move for you. I always get thrown off because it's different between EX, hard, and all the other things. Yeah, okay, here we go. What in the world, maniacal laughing, did I come back to? Garuda. Look, blame the writers. It's not my fault. I just do the voices. And I don't always plan ahead of time. Also, it's fun to go big. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, did the interject off? Nope, didn't. Missed it. Yeah, I know. But
Soon you will see the depths of your folly, mortals.
oh no, we're good for now. That's the second one. Let's get you away from that. The primal themes are always bangers, yeah. Welcome, Scrubs. Here's your new Dami Mommy. If you're late to the party, but they're all huge. Always gonna hear Elio's Garuda voice VO exclusive from now on. Aww, awesome. That, like, I can think of no higher compliments. It's really nice to hear. Here she goes. Oh, fuck. There we go. I was banging out. I wasn't paying attention to when I needed to interject.
No! No! No!
Get fucked. Actually, I think part of the problem is half of your fan base wants that.
What? How in the hells? This is my realm! You have no hope here! None! None! Did you truly believe you could defy a god, landwalkers?
I just also feel like she's so extra. You even see it in her text. I can't not perform the extraness.
My power is limitless, my children legion. And they have returned unto my wealth of crystals. Their gifts sustain me, their faith empowers me. None save my children will escape the reckoning, mortals, and those who would use my crystals to waken the rest shall realize the folly of their faith. Then all shall worship none but me, the one true God. Of course, worship. So long as the Ixils keep praying, she will never fail. Wasn't your guys' fault? Wasn't your guys' job to take care of the Ixils? Then let's stop them.
Wasn't that what you were supposed to be doing this whole time? Ah! No harm will come to you, my children. This is only the beginning, Landwalkers. All who oppose me shall suffer for their defiance. Soon the worms of the forest shall receive my judgment. The desert vermin next. The walls of stone will shield them from their tempest. And then will I take my revenge on the sea lice. Their wooden boats cannot outrun the wind. Tremble, mortals, for I shall visit you and all in time, and all shall be mine, all mine! You, Landwalker, you who dare to raise your hand against me, you shall be the first to pay for your sins, not with your death, but with your life. You will serve me, Landwalker, to your last breath. Good luck with that. No! No! I claimed you! You should be mine! Bitch, you wish. Dude, I did not realize that we echoed so hard we pushed it back at her. I totally forgotten about that. I guess that probably was actually not the echoes, probably the blessing of light as a ward against pushing back, especially because the crystal was retrieved from it. I remember when I first came from WoW to Final Fantasy XIV, the thing that grabbed me first was how awesome the non-generic music was. Yeah, I hear you, Crotorized. I will say, to this day, one of my favorite trailers of all time and one of my favorite like musical pieces of all time is the storytelling done in the Wrath of the Lich King trailer. So WoW has its moments, and it does have some really wonderful ambienic music, but it's, yeah, if I had to compare, especially for like high moments, WoW is nowhere near. Which primal suits the weapon you get from them the best? For me, Ifrit's axe looks the best. I really do like the Titan weapons. Ultimate weapon is entered the chat. What? What are you? What have you done to me? No mortals should possess such power. This is impossible. She has huge gusts of wind. Thank you for that, Dragonstar. All humans looting anything with boobs or without, basically anything that has a shape. Ain't that the truth? Even in Endwalker, she's extra. Yeah, it's true. I love Garuda lines in Endwalker. Bitch, I already got a goddess. Her name is Ma.
Why do you not tremble at my might? Why do you not beg for mercy? Why do you not die?
I'm going to be honest, I had no memory of what her voice actually sounded like, and I want to say that I'm actually not too far off, and I'm pretty proud of that. Obviously, I don't have the, like, added effect.
Impossible it is. Kill you all.
Is that all?
Hey! Discount Darth Vader and Evil Voice McGee.
O Lady of the Vortex, Almighty Garuda. Of all
I'm gonna run,
powers, the
grab,
most
get a drink real quick
terrible.
for my throat.
I say again, is that all?
Gaius!
Sid, my boy, you look well. For one who has forsaken kin and country, I wonder what else you will forsake before the day is done.
What?
What exactly did you hope to accomplish here this day? Well, I shall accomplish far more.
Is that all? Is that all? Insolent mortal! I shall make you suffer! She has touched you. Very well.
Seven hells, does she still mean to fight?
Our Lord of the Inferno Almighty, he freed, grant us succor in our hour of need.
Save us, Titan, Lord of Crags! It hurts us so! The pain! The pain!
What is she?
They did a decent job on those voices.
12 preserve. She cannot mean to.
Too bad it's voiced. I don't get to do Arnold Schwarzenegger Titan.
No. No, this is all wrong.
Stop gawping, boy. We must run.
Surrender yourselves unto me. I would feast upon your ether. None shall stand against the wind.
And now we've hit it. Ultima enters the chat.
Bear witness to the glory of the Empire.
Yeah, Brotherhood, she's referring to Touched by Hydaelyn. And the Blessing of Light.
It is you who will suffer, Garuda. Ancient
Who's controlling it
and
currently?
ways of dealing with your kind. Now,
Is it on
look
autopilot?
on their ultimate weapon, Icon, and despair.
No! No! No!
That seems unnecessary.
Magnificent. It exceeds all expectation.
I don't know if the ultimate weapon is based off of a certain beast. I think if anything, it just has kind of in line with the weapons from 7.
It grows more
And,
powerful.
Actually,
A marvel, is it not?
Such is the fate of those who oppose the Empire. There will be no warriors of light to save you this time. If your leaders are as wise as they are reported, they will surrender. Your skills are impressive, but they will not be enough.
12, have mercy. What chance have we against such an ungodly creation? And who was that armored devil?
Alphino
That
really
was
didn't know who
Gaius van
Gaius was?
Balsar, legatus of the 14th Imperial Legion. and Supreme Commander of the Garlean invasion force in Eorzea.
Of course. The Black Wolf. How could I not realize? Grandfather mentions him in his journal.
I was never so naive as to think the man would abandon his ambitions. But these developments are beyond my worst expectations. What have you been doing these past 5 years? How could something of this magnitude have escaped the Alliance's attention?
We heard no whispers, saw no signs. In the wake of the calamity, the Empire seized land and built outposts, but that was the extent of their aggression.
Damn it, Gaius! Where in the seven hells did you find that thing?
Beneath Alamigo.
It has been a day of unexpected developments, but the fact remains, Garuda is no longer a threat. While I take no comfort in the manner of her downfall, it does mean that we may safely put the matter of the primals to one side, for the time being at least.
Which just leaves the matter of Gaius's new toy.
Indeed. That weapon poses the greatest threat to Eorzea. It must be destroyed. But first, we must needs find out all we can. Let us make for Vesper Bay. We shall rebuild the Scions. All is not yet lost, my friend. For we bear
No,
the
brother.
light,
I'll talk about that in a
and
second.
shall surely lead our people from the darkness.
It's an Allegan mechanism. It wasn't built by Garlemald. Wow. Why we fly back to Ul'dah? Hey, Catherine, good to have you. Glad you're here. Greetings to you in Orlando, Florida. There'll definitely be a love triangle between Titan, Garuda, and Ifrit. Woo, all job bars are put together. We'll still see if the adjustments during leveling. Yeah, Rory, that always happens. There will always be slight adjustments as you figure out what works best. Leviathan, it most certainly does not work. Ifrit, I have to douse all of your mistakes. What exactly is the frame of the ultimate weapon based on? We were talking about that. Totten, just so he has something to do. Right. Some kind of beast. And Moggle may he ever be praised, would somehow be the manager of the apartment. Ramu would only be the only Sangai that actually gets anything done while enduring the antics of the other. Yeah, Shiva, we need to talk about your TPS report. For Alamigo! Ramu would take a CEO role or just straight man in the collection of screwballs. They didn't make it. No, it seems so in style with their other work style-wise. I mean, not really. I mean, aesthetically, well, okay. Part of what's going on with that is that their armors and stuff are also were in. Remember, Emmett made Alag. Emmett also made Garlemald. A bunch of Garlean aesthetics are actually tied into things that also come from Alag, and also Garlemald searches for Allagan ruins and stuff and uses them as well. So while it's distinct, there's also aspects of it of their own works within it. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to disagree with you because to an extent, yes, like it's helmet shape and like Gaius's, there's a parallel there, but no. They are, it's an Allagan make. The heart of Sabik itself is not Allagan and is something even older and more powerful. And I have a theory that it might be explained what it actually is at long last during Pandemonium. That weapon didn't destroy those primals. It devoured them. Gods only know what else it can do. Well, that was an experience I would rather not have again. Something has been troubling me, Elio. Shortly before the Black Wolf took center stage when Garuda attempted to claim you as her own, I could have sworn I saw... but I'm sure I was mistaken. In times of great stress, the evidence of the eye is apt to be misread by even the most inquiring mind. Forget I mentioned it. Returning to the subject of our earlier discussion, may we consider the matter of the primals closed until further notice. No beast tribe will dare summon their god so long as the weapon exists. Truly, a more effective deterrent I could not imagine. It almost seems a shame to plot its destruction. That's not the lesson to take away from this, Alpha, no. Let me look up. Pandemonium is an Endwalker thing, I presume. Yes, it is the raid series for Endwalker. Not the Alliance raid, but the like normal raid, like the Binding Coils, Alexander, Omega Eden. MSQ quests. I want to see if there's like a good stopping point, if this is a good stopping point, because we still have quite a bit of time, so we can fill that with doing other things. But I don't want to like go into another episode. What would allow for another good stopping point elsewhere? So we are finishing the Howling Eye. We're at Reclamation. Anyone know when acting the part dressed for conquest fool me twice? Anyone know what quest you fight Ratatan in? Because I mean, you used to be able to look at for Cape, but Cape Westwind, but now you can't do that anymore because it's a. With that said, that might actually be. Let's continue on for now. We'll see how that goes. Get started on Lander. On Lander? Alpha News 2.0 voice. Hey, Kichi, glad to have you. And yes, it's not the best. Big fat tacos, big fat tacos. Beat the heart of Sabik, the heart of Sabik, the heart of Sabik. Yeah! Lander. I don't know what you mean, Professor. I'm gonna pick up this quest just in case. It is past time we return to the Waking Sands. Ratatan is after saving all the Scions. Okay, so we've got a ways until there. It's been so long I forgot the order of operations there. Thank you. It's past time we return to the Waking Sands. To leave our headquarters in disrepair any longer would be to dishonor the memory of those who fell there. We've been brought to our knees, but we will rest, rebuild, and rise once more. I will always hear big fat tacos even if I know the lyrics. So we've got a couple options. So this is actually a really good stopping place for the MSQ. We still got 40 minutes left. We could do the last warrior quest, although I tend to like to save that for the start. We could start picking up Lancer, since we're going to need to do that for 3.0. Or we could start doing some side quests in and around one of the regions. I will make a poll and let you guys decide. Which should we do? MSQ. Side quests. Let's see. Yeah, okay. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and return to Limsa and repair my stuff. Lancer, Stupo, oh, correct. Well, at least we're on the same page, Professor. There you go. And I will repair stuff. And I'm also going to go ahead and buy some new like rings and stuff, since mine are old as shit. And then once I finish that, we can go ahead and see where everyone's at. That's way too expensive. That's sling. Wait, can I use sling? Oh, I guess it's disciple. That's weird. Ah, why is everything fending so expensive? Skill speech. Well, those all work for me, so yeah, that works fine. How much more expensive is high quality? Well, that doesn't matter. Fending. Well, at that price, how could I not? Ugh. Diamond bracelets. Agate ring. That's way too expensive. Diamond ring. If you like put it, should have put a ring on it. Something, something, something. God. Wait, how much were the diamond rings? I feel like those were less expensive. Yeah, we're just gonna go with 2 diamond rings. Does it go to inventory? No. And we'll put on the normal chest for now, because that's far prettier. Let's see what people say. Oh, looks like people definitely want Lancer. Yeah, Lancer's probably gonna do right now. Lancer, stupid upgrade. Lancer and SideQuest EXP. Yeah. Oh, you're on Crystal. Yeah, Kichi, we are on Crystal. Speaking of, if you are new here, we are on Crystal Curl, and if you would like to join our FC that we have going for that, feel free to send me or Ray an aside on that. Or you can also join our Discord as our primary way of communicating, and where all these lovely people and many, many more have a good social time and have things, do all sorts of things. On top of that, if you are not on Crystal Curl, but you'd still like to be able to talk to people in-game, we have a cross-world link shell. You're more than welcome to join. Beyond that, usual goodies. I'm sure Ray, if she is still alive and awake, will post some of that in the Discord, or not the Discords, the chats. Okay, so we're doing Lancer. Do you need to buy armband stuff during questing? Do you need to? Hell no. Do I want to? Sure, why not? I also needed something to do for a second, and it was a good thing. It's like an extra couple of stat points. It doesn't matter at all right now, but might as well toss it. You know, I'm, especially because I'm going to be at level, well, no, no, you super don't need to. Well, okay, to an extent. You do want to have at least a certain level of stuff if you're like leveling, because otherwise you're going to make dungeons and roulettes take way longer than they need to, which most people don't give a shit about, so you're fine. But I give a shit about, and especially because I tank most dungeons a lot, I know exactly how long most of them should take, typically take, and when they're going very slow. So I tend to be like overly, I tend to be super overly persnickety about it all. Okay, so we're definitely doing Lancer because we need to we're gonna need to start doing that for that and early Dragoon when we get into 3.0. I mean, well, we have to do before 3.0. Basically, we can do Lancer now, and I need to have Dragoon done by 2.x. I may ping you on the DC for mitigation advice. Yeah, definitely, Nick. Honestly, okay, look, I'm not an excellent player when it comes to everything. I'm a pretty good healer with Sage and White Mage. I'm with Ast and Scholar. I'm okay with a lot of DPS, but I'm not great at many DPS. I am a good tank. I can say with confidence I know how to play tanks, and I can definitely actually offer meaningful and good advice with those. Especially, especially lately, Paladin, I can offer top tier advice, but I can offer advice for the other three as well.
Welcome to the Lancers Guild, adventurer. If you seek to refine your skills with the polearm, then you have come to the right place. Here at the Lancers Guild, spear wielders gather to train with one another and further hone their abilities under the tutelage of our fine instructor. Do you seek membership with us? Very well, I shall provide you with an insight into the history of our guild. More than just an instrument of war, the spear is also a tool for hunting, and with game ever plentiful in the Twelveswood, the weapon has been a mainstay of the locals here since before the founding of Gridania, even on to Gelmora. It was very popular in Gelmora. With the passing of time, our nation became gathering place for spearmasters from across the realm, many eager to test their mettle against the famed might of our wood whalers. It was here in Gridania that their myriad fighting styles came into contact, eventually giving rise to the art taught here today. That spear technique could be formalized at all owed much to the founding of the Lancers Guild by wood whaler Captain Mistel, nigh on a century pass. The tradition of accepting students from without as well as within Gridania's border persists to this day, ensuring that the art of the polearm may not only survive, but also continue to evolve. Well, there you have it. I hope that this brief history of the guild has helped to settle any doubts in your mind. The Lancers Guild is always eager to welcome new initiates. If you are willing to enlist, speak with me again and we can begin the enrollment procedures. Well then, have you made up your mind to enlist in the Lancers Guild? I don't know why I would say no. Excellent. I shall let Guildmaster Eorzean know to expect you. All who seek admittance to our ranks must present themselves before him. He will judge you if you are fit to become one of us. Pray, make your way to the training area within. Our Guildmaster awaits you there.
What's your favorite jobs of the ones you've played? I've played all of them. I'm an Omni 90. My favorite, I mean, I'm a tank main by far, so my favorite to play are tanks. Right now, my two favorite jobs to play, though, typically are Sage and mainly Paladin. Like number 1 is Paladin, number 2 is Sage. With all the tanks as like a number 3. But yeah, what is everyone else's favorite job to play?
Well met, adventurer. I understand you wish to learn the Lancer's art under our roof. I see you have some combat experience, yet it remains to be seen if such skills as you have acquired will avail you here. But no matter, in my capacity as Guildmaster, I shall guide your training, beginning with the very basics, the principles of our art. There exist a myriad of fighting styles, each of which has its own unique qualities. None, however, can claim to be as offensively minded as ours. Our approach is ever one of attack, no matter who or what we face. An experienced lancer is able to wield a polearm as if it were an extension of his body, transforming into a raging storm before his foes, delivering a barrage of devastating thrusts and slashes. To facilitate such a relentless assault, we lancers forgo plate, favoring armor of leather and chain, such materials as provide adequate protection without unduly hindering movement. A lancer's worth may be measured quite simply in how swiftly and decisively he can pierce his enemy's defense. By its nature, the polearm is a simple weapon to wield. For good or ill, even in a farmer's hands, it is capable of wreaking considerable havoc. Thus has it been a mystery of every great army since ancient times. Yet, know that a lance alone does not a lancer make. Faced with an unfavorable odds, an unseasoned spearman will break formation and flee without a moment's hesitation. A true lancer, however, flinches not before his enemies, for he knows the meaning of fear. Ever does he press forward, disdainful of the odds that he might pierce the enemy line and open a path to victory. Needless to say, doing so requires no small amount of courage, and that is why our guild has striven from the first to instill this essential quality in every soul who passes through our halls. Arduous trials await you should you join our ranks. Knowing this, have you the resolve to wield the lance? Well said, adventurer. I see no reason to deny you a place within our ranks. But I neglected to introduce myself. I am Eorzean, master of this guild. Pleasantries duly exchanged, I shall add to your hunting log the names of the creatures against which a lancer might hone his skills. In celebration of the occasion, I hereby present you with your very own spear. Arm yourself with it, and speak to me once more. I would have you undertake your first task, a trial to be precise.
He ain't gonna put us through an 8-man. Croterize, sorry if I missed you. Lovely always seeing you, and I hope that if you catch the continuation of this later on, you'll know that I said goodbye. Lovely to see you. Give us money. Thank you, Ray Ray. Yeah, and since Ray Ray's saying that, give us money. No. Seriously though, whenever you guys give super chats on YouTube or you you find us on Patreon, it goes a long way to making this whole thing more sustainable, and it's allowing me to get ever closer towards doing this full time. And to be honest, not just eat ramen and other very cheap foods all the time. So thank you. But yeah, the vast majority of it goes towards channel in terms of buying things like this yearly membership for the podcast, or equipment, or new lore reference books, or all sorts of stuff like that. So I just want to take a second to say thank you for those of you who either super chat here or are patrons, and very, very much appreciate it. Dark Knight from Professor, Black Mage then Paladin, White Mage, haven't gotten past ARR stuff, but the White Mage is simple and less stressful to me. Yeah, Brotherhood, that kind of remains this true throughout. The White Mage is always the simple healer. I mean, it's still got a lot to it as it goes on and on and on, but that is like its thing. I actually felt really bad for the Dusk White Lancer in these quests. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is the Dusk Whites have so much racism put against them, it's crazy. Sam and Summoner. I read that first as Sam and Sam, Nick. But, I love Summoner. Summoner's a lot of fun. In terms of DPS, I've only really been playing either Reaper or Summoner lately. Those have been the two that I've been having a lot of fun with, but I don't play DPS all that often. I've been enjoying Warrior a lot lately. My main job is Dancer, though. Ray, that's so in line with you. John, I really like Reaper, but I'm more comfortable with range jobs, specifically Summoner and Dancer. Nice. I personally like playing Machinist, Sam, and Red Mage. All good choices. Currently Sam, and as an Omni 90, what would you say is your favorite class for each group? Ooh, so hey, Destinium, I don't know if I said hi before. If I didn't, hi, welcome, glad to have you. Favorite tank, currently. This is as of this expansion. It always changes expansion to expansion, but currently, for tanks, it is Paladin, which I accidentally messed up my Paladin thing, but it is Paladin. For melee DPS, it's probably Reaper. It might be Monk, but it's probably Reaper. I haven't relearned Monk very well, so currently Reaper. Casters, no question, Summoner, just straight up Summoner. And then for healers, it is far and away Sage. So yeah, so Paladin, Reaper, Summoner, Sage. I think I've got some axes. Could even say I have an axe to grind. It's a good thing I didn't get rid of my racial clothing. Eorzean wishes to assign you your first trial as a member of the Lancers Guild. So, you were able to discern one end of the spear from the other. Good. You are doubtless eager to put your new weapon to the test, which is well, for I too have a test in mind, or rather, a trial. In order to develop an affinity with your weapon and learn to gauge such things as distance, you are to go forth and pit yourself against the creatures that roam just outside the city. The squirrels, ladybugs, fungers, and should provide you with a suitable challenge. Put down, let us say, 3 of each, and then report back to me. Where are the long half jokes? AC, how do you guys all know what I've been writing? Literally, the video that's coming out in 2 days on Wednesday has long half jokes, Anor Cockburn jokes, and literally multiple things that have been referenced in this chat. I'm very excited for you guys to enjoy it. But there's going to be some long half jokes coming for you, AC, very, very soon. I'm also trying to get into tanking, but haven't made much progress yet. Well, John, if you want any recommendations, I'd be happy to help. That is one thing that, 1, I enjoy helping. 2, I can speak to tanks. And especially, I think it depends, like, what is the thing that makes it difficult for you? Is it not knowing what... Oh, here, I need to put mounts. I need to put milkshakes on. Is there a specific thing you don't know? Is it just general stress? I'd love to know. Nick, ice cream fund. Yes. Yes. Thanks to Serene, there has been a repeated milkshake fund from Super Chats. But, oh, I'm L1. I need to run away. I was not thinking. There we go. Yeah, in order of how much I like the 6 combat jobs, I have Black Mage, Paladin, Dance, Summoner, Reaper, Scholar. Yes, I have a level 90 Scholar and play it more than Summoner, just not very good with healing. Yeah, dude, I know a lot of people who love Scholar. Like, no shade there. I adore most of the ranged and casters, but Red Mage is my baby. Nice. Yeah, I mean, there's no job I hate. Like, there are a couple jobs that I've, like, never vibed with. Like, Bard, I just never have vibed with. But there's, like, all the jobs are really well made. I've never gotten super into ninja. Like, I've gotten decent with the mudras and all of that, but I never super clicked with it. I played Sam through when I went through Stormblood's story, but I still never, like, fell in love with Sam. I like Monk a lot. It's also partially because Monk feels future complete at 60. Fave job per roll, tank dark. Man, Dark is such a weird place during Endwalker. It's crunchy. Man. Dark, healer, Sage, totally. Range Dancer. Yeah, I like Dancer. Of the range, Dancer's my favorite currently. Yeah, same. Caster, Summoner, Melee, Sam. Yeah. Lots of good choices. I enjoyed Scholar. I consider myself a mystical fairy in real life, so I work with a fairy. I know I may act like a cat at times, but I feel like a fairy. Monk is great. I just wish I didn't suck. Yeah, I hear you, Kichi. Like, I'm not good with Monk right now, right? And that's always the hard part. Welcome to the law firm of Lancer and Dancer. Here at Lancer and Dancer, we fight for you. Welcome to the law firm of Lancer and Dancer. Here at Lancer and Dancer, we fight for you. Aurora, I did Fairy Asian vibe for my Scholar and saw the Dead Hive Codex and knew it was needed for my glam. Yep. Hey, Tillier! Glad you could join us. No worries. It's always good to have you, and there's always the VOD. No worries at all. I like the idea of Scholar, and it's the only healing class I have, but straight up healing is the area that I'm worst at. I hear you, Power. Like, the thing is if you're bad at healing, I typically would recommend just go play White Mage for a bit, because it's so straightforward. It's very easy to learn the basics, and get them really, really down. Some people might feel differently. Some people might actually, Scholar might work well for them. But especially the barrier healers tend to have like a little extra level of complication, and I think because Ast has like a lot going on with the cards, it has its own complication, whereas White Mage is just very straightforward. But beyond those, healing doesn't have to be too scary. None of the jobs have to be too scary. Nick, very nice. What was it? Yeah. Kichi, still sad about the Kaiten removal, but it's not that big a deal at the end of the day. Yeah, and I think the thing is, it's really opened them up to be able to do things not just for 6.0, but 7.0 and onward. So, like, I hear you, I do. But, and I mean, I think we're on the same page there. I'm so bad at Ninja. Also, hello, hey, Chris, glad to have you. Glad you can make it. I'm very late, thanks to work. No worries. I'm glad to have you whenever you guys can make it, and there's always the VOD. Did you hear about the scholar Mikote? He was a tome. Beautiful, Des. Beautiful. John, mainly it's playing with other people and not feeling like I'm not really familiar with the dungeons. I think so far I've got Warrior up to 50 just with Squadrons and Trust. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is that the thing about Warrior is it is the job where more than any other you need to know the dungeon or you need to know the content. That said, if you learn exactly how to use your mitigations, like if you learn how much you can handle, you don't even need to know the dungeon that well to know what you can handle. But yeah, a big part of it is just either learning by doing or being willing to like look up information to try and preemptively practice. But yeah, there is a lot about Warrior that is, you don't just have to learn your job. You need to learn your job and whatever the thing is more than any other job. Because like as a DPS, you can get away with taking a vuln stack or two or not knowing the trial very well or what have you. As healer, you're fixing problems more than anything else. But with tank, if you don't know what you're supposed to be doing, it can be stressful. Now, I, however, really enjoy that stress. Because I feel like I need to know what I'm doing regardless of what job I'm playing. So a job that mandates that I must know what I'm doing just like fits that. Gotta head on out, but thanks for the stream. Yeah, Des, so glad to have you. Sorry if I missed you. It's not a big deal, but it's hard for me to get used to not using Kaiten before Yaijutsu. Just doesn't feel right anymore. Yeah, that's the difficulty with baggage around jobs. Like, part of the reason I think Dark Knight feels really wonky right now is because I played it all through Shadowbringers and it like feels crunchy in contrast. But everyone I know who started playing Dark Knight during 6.0 has no problems with it. So I hear you on that. Tank Busters being marked is a really big help. Yes, the fact that they're making universal mechanics retroactively the case in A Realm Reborn is helping a lot to teach people. But yeah. Oh, hey! One of our FC members. Do you recommend Paladin? I've been tempted to start it mainly because I love the level 90 gear more than every time I look. Well, currently it's my favorite tank, far and away. Like, I adore Paladin. It's so much fun. I would also say Paladin is actually probably the easiest to learn in some ways. I think while Warrior has more room for more abilities to like get you out of a tough spot and technically has some more survivability, the thing is Paladin pushes you towards playing Paladin the right way in a way that some of the other tanks don't. I am a very, very big fan both of its toolkits offensively and its toolkits defensively. As we get to the end of this stream, what I'll do is I'll hop on my main real quick and I'll point out some stuff. Because we're running up on time, so why don't I go ahead and finish this first quest and we'll call it there. So, you are back. I trust you have learned something of the essence of our art. A lancer learns best when he is doing each thrusting, making him stronger. When he is doing each thrust, making him stronger. Such things as strategies and technique will come in time. And never forget courage. Without it, you cannot hope to realize your potential. Your looks betray you. Your looks betray no hint of doubt. That is well. It is clear to see the truth in my words. That will be all for the present. Now take up your weapon and sally forth and cut a path for yourself. When next we meet, I hope to see you stronger for your time out in the world. Okay. I'm going to do my outro stuff for those of you who are leaving because we are no longer doing MSQ and stuff. So I want to say thank you all for joining for that so much. I look forward to seeing, we've got probably about 2 episodes left until we're done with the Realm Reborn, well, done with 2.0, which is very exciting. On top of that, I'd like to remind everyone to come join our Discord if you'd like to socialize, be a part of the community, and it's all around good time. It's also a good way to be notified whenever something's going live. On top of that, don't forget to toss $1 here on Super Chats on YouTube or on Patreon. It goes a long way to making this whole thing a lot more sustainable, and we deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate it. Especially with the amount of time I've spent on video making and stuff lately, it means that it's hard to balance with real world job. On top of that, don't forget, we have MSQ stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. And then on Wednesdays, we release videos. Fridays is Lore Book Club on our Discord. And if you have an interest in going through Encyclopedia Eorzea Volume 1, feel free to join us on our Discord, where you can sign up for the event there. Saturday is our community live stream. It looks like we might be doing Baja or Eureka, probably Baja, this week, but it has yet to remain to be seen. In the meantime, I'm sure that there's something else I'm forgetting, but I'm also sure Ray Ray, if she is still around, will proffer links to such things. Now, I don't mind Dark, but I've only just started playing tank, so what do I know? I mean, hey, that sometimes ignorance is bliss. Paladin is pretty easy too. Yeah, the thing about Paladin is that it's easy, but with a high skill ceiling if you get good at it. So like, it's a really pretty low floor, but a high skill ceiling, and that's what I like about it. You snuck up on me as I was shopping. Get back here. Sorry, Professor, I'm gone. Paladin is fun easy. I personally find War the funnest of the tanks, though. Aesthetically, Dark and Gunbreaker are what I'm more into. Speaking on tanks, Gunbreaker just feels cool to play. Funnest, not funniest. Interesting, I started with Warrior just because I heard it was the simplest. Also, I play on controller and I heard Paladin has some problems with button bloat. So here's the thing. Here's the one thing I wanted to tell everyone that may have some people yelled at me. Shield Bash, you don't need. You can literally just not put on your bar, because Shield Bash is a stun that is a GCD, which means there's almost never any reason that you should be using this. You should only ever be using Interject or Low Blow. You should never have to use Shield Bash. On top of that, you are almost never going to use cover ever, so you don't really need to put it on your bar. But in terms of Paladin, why don't I go to Wolfsten? Oh, no, Wolfsten will be the wrong abilities. God, where's the nearest fighting? The only one I can think of off the top of my head is in Western Thanlon, so I'm gonna go there. I also play on control. So the thing though is that there's also button blow issues on all of them, and like the mitigation for Warrior. It's funny, I see some people say that about Warrior, but there's a lot of like managing time that Warrior doesn't push you into in the same way that Paladin does. Like, here's the thing is like all this stuff, most of it is not, you don't have to worry. It's like here, let's get to the rotation. So the thing about Paladin is you're basically doing 1, 2, 3 to get you're trying to get this Goring Blade. This is a damage over time. And then you're trying to get into Royal Authority. So like you're gonna do this. So you do your 1, you do your 2, and then you turn on Fight or Flight, which increases the damage of your attacks, including the DOT you just put on. Then you're gonna want to go 1 into 2, and this is level 90, so this is the most straightforward thing. So at like level 50, it's nothing. But then you're doing that. So you've got like this melee combo of you're setting up the dot, then you're going to the heavy hit, and then you're going into Requiescat, which is you do 5 magic blasts, and then you do 5 Confiteors, and so, well, not quite 5. But so like you do those, and then you get to do shit like this. 4 of them. And that's literally basically your entire combo. Like, you're just going through that cycle and trying to maintain that while using your mitigation. Now, the cool thing with Warrior, or with Paladin, is that you also have your OGCDs that you're applying at will. You're applying these two, so you apply them when you can. You've got a fun dash. You've got one of my favorite mitigations in the entire game, Holy Sheltron, because not only do you build this Oath Meter up and have, like, Sheltron to use, but when you get to 90, or 82, for the first, like, 4 seconds, it's more powerful. And so it's even stronger, which means that, like, it rewards you for getting skilled with it. Then you have a bunch of fun mitigation, and you're the only tank that has an active heal. So like you have a spellcast heal, so you can heal yourself, you can heal your allies, and it's just a really fun toolkit. Also, when you use this, your magic spells, instead of using your attack spells, let's say your healer goes down and you need to keep someone alive. been the main healer and main tank of a battle before. Like, you can only do that with, like, Paladin. You can't do that with the other tanks. You also get Passage of Arms, which is cool as fuck. And this guards all your friends behind you. Yeah, the shields. The infamous Gabi video.
Yes, watch the infamous Gabi video.
Yeah, to do optimal war, you have to know how to properly manage your gauge. Yeah, the perfectionist me just cringe with no need for job ability on hotbar when they want all the job abilities present. But the thing is, like, Aurora, if you're the perfectionist, you should have shield bash off. Because if you're a perfectionist, you should never, ever, ever need shield bash. Not once. Because shield bash, there's no reason to stun an enemy unless there's, like, literally one or two contexts in the entire game someone can argue for. There is, if you're doing everything right, you should not need shield bash. It will decrease your DPS, and you won't mitigate much. Level 90 Paladin looks dope as fuck. It is dope as fuck. It's... And the thing is that, like, everything I said is built on level after level after level. So the thing is, you're not overwhelmed. When you first start out, it's just 1, 2, 3, and the 4. And then you start getting your Requiescat, and then you start getting a single Confiteor, and, like, it just builds and builds and builds. So it teaches you how to play it naturally. Shield Bash is a trap, yeah. Yeah, Paladin in general is just a fun tank class to play. It's not, I wouldn't argue it's necessarily the easiest, but I do think it is the most straightforward of them currently, in my opinion. Whereas when you get to some of the others, like Warrior, oh no, I can't, I'm in combat, and because I don't have a health bar, I can't pull it up. Well, either way. But I hope that kind of somewhat answers your question, John, to provide some context. With that said, for all of those who are watching this and wondering, why is this MSQ stream a guy showing off his Paladin job? Thanks for watching! I still wish they got rid of Summoner's Physic. I think that happens. I think what happens is that the next caster is more supporty. Well, I think either the next caster is more supporty or not supporty at all, and they either give the summoner more supporty stuff or less supporty stuff. I think there's a chance in which they take away the summoner's res and instead make, let's say it's a Geomancer, and they make the Geomancer kind of like how the Red Mage is like the support caster. They make 2 supporty casters and 2 damagey casters. I don't know that they will do that, but looking at what they did to healers, kind of looking at what they did to tanks with off tanks and main tanks, I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, Paladin doesn't come into, like, the thing is that no class has anything going on like, until level 60, really, to be frank. Like, no job has anything going on. Monk is the one job that, like, actually gets pretty much online at 60. Summoner's better, but, like, very few of them are good at 60, and that's the sad truth. Either that or change properties to be more of a buff than near useless heal. Yeah, and I think Atelier, I think to your point on that, I think they've started to get at that with some of the changes that they added already. So, if you can keep the sword in the ground. Here's hoping the whip-wielding Dami-Mami physical healer one day. I don't know that whip-wielder would be a healer, but I pray for you, Eden, that you get what you dream of. With all that said, I'm going to head off, guys, because I have yet to eat today. I think I have food. Either way, thanks so much for joining. It's been a weird day. I appreciate all of you guys so much, and I'm really excited to get to the end of Realm Reborn. We're also going to have to figure out what we're doing with those side quests. That's going to be a fun time. Let me give my Radiant Aegis to other party members. That would be awesome. Yeah. Well, but the problem is, Kichi, then you're very, very, very powerful. Like, I mean, think at that point, you have extreme damage and extreme utility, so you'd have to drop off DPS in order to do that. Good night, everyone. Have a lovely time. I'm going to keep singing like this until I find the button to log out. Well, not log out,